It's time for Type 40 Live, the live stream Doctor Who magazine show across your view screen on Rumble, X, YouTube, and on Facebook too. Keeping track of all 5 dimensions as best we can between all of us and all of you over there too, covering all things Doctor Who in the live chat full of fellow friends, fans, and companions. Can't wait to get started as ever. And what could possibly have got Kate to spit her tea like that? Oh, the reviews are coming in. Let's get started with the war between. Then talking about hot stuff, out representing the TARDIS. Where has Billy been this week? What's going on there? Plus, we've got untold tales, believe it or not, of discomfort and not that much joy in the Doctor Who diary. That's all coming up. A packed Big Who for your Thursday. And I have no idea where we are, but wherever it is, it looks like there's something really serious going on, doesn't it? Maybe a submarine. It's the hunt for Red October. Maybe we'll find some Sea Devils or some Homo Aqua while we're at it. But while we try and work out where we are, let's work out who you are. Hello. Hi, everybody. Yes, so I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. Welcome back to Type 40 Live again for the Big Who. We've got so much to talk about. Some things we expected, other things we sort of knew were coming, but we didn't think they were coming today. But between us, we'll cover as much of it as we can, I am certain. And you can chip in there with your comments. As always, we'll find out who you are in a moment or two. We'll take the pulse of where you are and whether you can smell the salt water yet. It's all happening, isn't it? It's all happening. It's all happening here. I'm not quite sure where it is, but I have information to hand once I work out what some of the accoutrements are doing. And I think that when it comes to accoutrements, the best place to suss them out will probably be over the other side of the Atlantic with my mate, Gary Akers. Hi, Gary.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Dan? My brain short-circuited when I saw that Billy picture. Everything after that is a fog. So it's nice to see you.
You may want to take a few very, very deep breaths for what we've got coming up later on. If you thought that was hot.
I need to go out and get some air after that picture.
Hi, Gary.
No, hi, Dan. Of course, no. No, this is great.
It's spectacular, isn't it? It is, believe it or not, it is an engine deck of the TARDIS. And there's grating there, and there's definitely roundels, great big ones, and some of them have been removed. And there's what looks like radiators and stuff like that along the walls. There's bits of everything, I think, there, but it looks very heavy duty, doesn't it?
Wow, this is this kind of looks like what like you think like every TARDIS looks like, like when it's just like out of the shop, on the factory floor, with all the bells and whistles. I'm very intrigued as to who that figure is.
We can't quite make it out. It's a quite sort of androgynous figure, looking up in awe. I think it could be a young first Doctor. I'm not entirely sure. You can't quite make it out because it's bathed. It's bathed in light, which is talk about bathed in light. That's often how I find David Milling bathed in light. It's usually the cricket pavilion, though, David.
Absolutely. Good evening, Dan. Good evening, Gary, and good evening, one and all in the chat. Hello. And I've got a very special outfit on tonight. I'm not sure if you can guess what it is, but it relates to something that really did move me to tears in a lovely way earlier today.
Last night's cricket game?
No, Joe Root getting 100 was one of them, but the other one came by when I got a ping. My phone started to go ping, 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 with the 3 letters OMG. Yeah, and it wasn't anybody.
I haven't seen it yet, so we're not going to talk. No. We're not going to do much details about that because I haven't seen it.
It wasn't my daughter telling me that she'd passed the driving test at the first attempt either. So, but well done, Rosie.
Congratulations to your daughter, of course. Was she driving one of these, do you think?
No. I'd like to think that a Nissan Note isn't like one of those, but that's slightly more boxy. But as much as I love that TARDIS, I do prefer the Madonna Brassiere version
you do?
of the TARDIS, because it just brings back memories of the early 90s for me. But
this hasn't featured on
work
TV.
Of art.
But it is a piece of genuine concept art by the artist Peter McKinstry. And it's a page, well, a double page spread from his new book. And he says, I created this purely for my own amusement whilst I was teaching myself new 3D modeling software. I like the dark feel of it. And he calls it the engine deck TARDIS control room. So it reminds me of when I was a kid and I would sit there sort of sketching my ideas for what I'd do if I took over Doctor Who and how I'd make the TARDIS look. I'd put everything right. And so that's what this reminded me of. But you look closely, it captures so much of the romance of classic and new Doctor Who all sort of melded together. I really like this.
It's amazing. I mean, I wish I was lucky enough to be able to draw. If I drew a box, it would have one side was lopsided. That's how bad I am at drawing. And I'm amazed at the talent that artists have and what they produce. It knocks my socks off. It really does. It's an amazing work of art.
Of course, nothing is more subjective than art. And what one artist loves, I've done this kind of work. I really feel this. What one artist feels, some artists don't. And I often find that my tastes are very, very different to our real life time traveler, Matt Potts. What do you make of this one then, Matt?
Yeah, it's all right.
Hello, mate. Perfectly pitched as always.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't like large interior TARDISes. I know that's hard to. I'm so used to just the three walls, and that's pretty much it. I love it, But when the bigger they get, and the just ridiculous they get, I just like the more convenient, just focused in on the actors and that.
Judging on the person, Matt, that this would be considerably smaller than the one we've had on screen recently, wouldn't it?
Well, anything's better than that current atrocity.
Well, but see, this one is large, but it doesn't have the abject waste of space that Shooty's does. I mean, it does seem it's bigger, but it seems it doesn't seem like there's a lot of wasted space.
As long as it still has the wheelchair access,
Yeah, and also if it had the jukebox in there, it would be playing Baroque and roll.
Yeah. The only thing about this is it seemed like it would be like a long walk from walking right inside at the interior doors. It would take you a little while to walk all the way to the console. That's about the only
to do a full circuit.
Say for this, and you want to make sure you don't trip and do a header into the little inner workings there. But no, I mean this is
I think that we're all a bad influence on one another, and to save us from our own dad jokes, Charlotte Shields ought to really come in and tell us what's what, don't you think?
Always.
Here comes the prude.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
That's all right.
It's all right, but I get reports about what you lot say after I leave nearly every week.
Who would do something like that?
Yeah, who's dobbing on us?
And I just go, that's because the teacher's left.
Yes.
Did you know what comes to my mind, though, when I saw this? It's a lovely design. Yeah. But around the console, all my head goes is Toy Story with the claw. Do you know the aliens?
Oh, right. Yes.
When so that's just now in my head. Those little aliens saying
little green dudes with the pointy ears.
The claw.
3 eyes.
Yeah, I can't do the voice. There we go. That's a lot better.
I didn't see that before, but I will every time I look at it now. Do that again, Matt. Who was doing that? Was that you?
Oh, it was me. It was me. The claw.
That's you know what, Charlotte? That may be why they didn't go with this for exactly that reason, because now I can't unsee it.
It looks nearly identical to those machines.
I ate so much pizza at Pizza Planet.
We're pretty undecided so far, but if somebody is to have any kind of casting vote, it's probably this guy.
It still cracks me up.
Simon, can you pan it? Can you pan out so we can see the keyboard there in front
I wish I could. It's here. It's right here. As is. Ta-da! Little Lenny.
Lenny.
Yeah, Lenny's in the building.
I haven't seen him for weeks.
No, Lenny hasn't been around for a little while. Look, he's come all smart. Bow ties are cool, you know, Charlotte. Bow ties are cool.
He looks very dashing.
It's lovely to be back with you. So yeah, look, that console room. I'm going to agree with Matt on this one. It's just too big. I just don't like big console rooms. I'm spot on with Matt. Because I grew up with a console room this big. There's something very cozy and reassuring and comforting about a small console room, and this is just too cavernous. It's too big. I think it's interesting because we've talked before now on the show many times about the Paul McGann console room, which I think we all universally love. And I think that's where they got it right, because that's a massive console room. But the way they've done it very, very cleverly, because they sectioned it all off into small areas. The large girders that were over the top of the console itself, that sectioned that little bit off. So you were left with these cozy corners. So I still felt at home in it. Do you know what I mean, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was made larger just because of the stair. Remember the stairs?
Yeah, the stairs. But because there were those different areas, it still felt like a home. It felt comforting. Yeah. It felt reassuring.
Reminds me, Simon, when you go to some country pubs and there's, some of the areas are quite large, and then they've all got little snugs and things like that. So it still feels cozy, even though it's quite a big place.
That's what I'm talking about, and that's to me is where the McGann console room got it right. And it's beautifully rendered. This, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely magnificent, great visuals, brilliant idea, great artistry, very, very imaginative. So I love it from that point of view. It's a great piece of work. But would I want to see it on television? No, I wouldn't. Thank you. Condense it down to small size, keep the essence of it, and reduce it by 70%. And yeah, I'd go for that.
Yeah, I'm very much coming round to Matt's way of thinking on this, on the engine deck TARDIS, but I do like this piece of work. So it's a double page spread from this book, a new coffee table book that's coming out for Christmas. I think it's just come out now. So this is by Peter McKinstry, who was the concept artist on Doctor Who for a number of years. In fact, I think he is now and again, even now. And the blurb says it's a treasure trove of never before seen concept art, sketches and designs that offer a unique glimpse into the creative process behind the iconic show, as well as original works of art from the latest era of Doctor Who. Immerse yourself in the incredible imagination of Peter McKinstry as he designs, develops, and realizes characters, creatures, and worlds in stunning detail. Although it does say includes comments and notes from much-loved showrunner Russell T Davies. That's bits not so... You skip those bits. Everything else sounds really good. You get that in your Christmas
page out.
I was going to say, I wondered when that bit was written. Maybe before season 2 came out.
I just realized something, Dan, very quickly. If I could implore you to put that picture back. You know what? I realized that reminds me of that TARDIS concept art. Remember the scene in Moonraker where Bond was in that little testing thing and he gets put in that thing and spun around and
in Moonraker.
In Moonraker, that's kind of what that is, that big round thing that James Bond got caught in, the gyro. Yeah,
it is. You're spot on. Actually, it's a Ken Adam design, isn't it?
That wouldn't get you hot under the collar. I don't know what would. Well, actually, I've got a fair idea what would if your name's Gary Akers, the site of our sort of leading lady performer of any kind at the moment, Billie Piper. She was at, so this was the London Fashion Awards at the Royal Albert Hall the other day. Billie Piper made quite a jaw-dropping entrance. By the looks
That's so embarrassing. Does she know that her dress has dropped slightly? That's so embarrassing for her.
What's your point, Simon? What's your point?
She borrowed it from Shooty.
She's doing a Judy Finnegan, isn't she?
My word.
You suspect this photo may be staged at all? Is that what you say?
Surely not, Daniel. Surely not.
I'm going to be the first one to say this is my doctor.
Oh, No, you're on your own there, Gary, I'm afraid.
I do admire the fact, I have to say, that Billie Piper has been left holding this baby over the last, is it approaching 6 months now, David, would you say? When was the reality war? I've tried to block it out.
It's coming out. Yeah, it's just over 6 months since the end, May the 31st. May the 31st or the 1st of June for Matt, because he lives in a land down under. And obviously they're on different time zones. But yeah, 31st of May. And that she came up with a hulking great pair of shoulders and said, "Oh, hello." And really, we all just sort of sat there and stood there slightly agog. And I think she's wearing Marks and Spencer's underwear. If if I'm quite right, I think that might be
about your superior knowledge there, mate. It sounds like.
Well, I do a lot of washing, you see, in my house, and I have to wash underwear that is and put away underwear that is
what
not
you
mine.
do in your own private time is up to you.
You know,
that's a very gentlemanly answer, Mr. Milling.
Yes, I've learned how to put bras away correctly in drawers as well after much tuition. You don't just sling them in. And
you should do a video on that, David. Like a
yes, I should do the house husband's many different sorts of chores. But
David
no,
Charlotte's like, I'm not going there at all.
David Milling unhooked, you could call it, couldn't you?
Unhooked, yes. David, yes, exactly. Unfastened.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good strap line. But no, I do think she looks absolutely fantastic. And it might, in fact, not my doctor. Okay, I like my doctor to be a little less, a little bit more clumsy. Yeah. No, I like my doctor to be a little bit more sort of awkward, and I think that may cause, if she turned up like that, it may cause the Daleks' eye stalks to freeze a little bit in a certain position. So I don't.
It's
think
not all
that'd
bad
be
news.
useful. No, but I think she looks absolutely fantastic and very feminine and.
She's aging well, isn't she? She is
Absolutely.
aging magnificently. It has to be said. She's maturing.
Stunning.
Sorry, I should change that to magnificently.
Yeah, she's like a fine wine.
Yeah.
She's definitely come a long way since that calendar I used to have in my toilet. I'll give her that. It's,
what do you mean used to?
Charlotte?
And here's the thing, and somebody's pointed out she still has the red head. I want her to keep this hair color.
Yeah.
I really want her, not the bleach blonde, because I think, honestly, the less she looks like Rose, which is silly to say because it's Billie Piper, but the blonde hair was such a big sort of thing with Rose and such an identifiable aspect. I think actually having the red head would look brilliant, whatever she is, come next year.
Well, it might work for more of us than not, I think. Yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye really on where Billie's going, what she's doing, to see if she's sort of keeping it in line and on brand and not being caught smoking, for example, or swearing the way that some people do publicly. Because although, in all fairness, she's not under contract, in many ways she has inherited the mantle of Doctor Who, if not the Doctor. And it'll be very interesting to see where the next 6 months go. Because
maybe she is under contract and we don't know. Maybe she is.
You know what? They might have signed her up by now because they must be planning whatever it is they're planning, and whenever it is that they're gonna film something, I would imagine that availability will have been sought by now.
Yeah.
Right? So that's certain. So will she have the red hair, and will they bother with any kind of continuity? Well, they haven't bothered for the last 7 years, so why would they start now? But I know what you're asking. If this was the London Fashion Awards, surely this wasn't it. Where on earth was Ncuti Gatwa?
My heart sinks. My heart sinks. We were doing so well.
Please tell me. Please tell me.
He wasn't there.
You'll be overjoyed to learn, Simon, that no, he was there. And this is what he was wearing.
Oh, fucking hell.
Was he valeting cars?
That's his new job right now.
It looks like a cross between a Thunderbird and a monk.
I thought he was
Thunderbird. I like it. He is a Thunderbird. Yeah, good.
Thunderbird Zero. Thunderbird Zero.
I can't see any nipples at all.
Good, Gary.
Was he serving hot dogs as well outside? So it's a bit chilly. Yeah.
From the waist down, he looks like my nan. From the waist up, I don't. It's all very, very strange. But I don't even think he looks like he's having a very good time either, or where he's necessarily standing. But he was there. He was present, Matt. If not correct, I know you'd never have forgiven me if I hadn't got an answer to that question, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
I'm not sure how I would be able to put his clothes away. I'm not quite sure how I would be able to.
Well, as long as he's got something on.
Yeah, good point. I think that if he could really sort himself out, Billy too, for that matter, they could both do with wrapping up a bit more sensibly. How about this? The official Doctor Who Christmas jumper for this year. With this,
I like that.
Yeah,
our guest on the show the other day was young Bob, the commentator and a debater, and he was really into this, wasn't he, Charlotte? He was completely down for wearing this on Christmas morning. What about you guys?
I'm liking that.
I'd have this in a minute. Yeah.
I like that. It's got the proper logo on.
I think you're all nuts.
Really?
I'm slightly bothered by the Daleks, though. They almost look like Paradigm Daleks.
Yeah,
they look like Teletubby Daleks.
They look
squashed.
Compressed, don't they?
They do, don't they? They just don't look quite right shape. They almost look like those old humpback Paradigm Daleks. But yeah, I like the TARDIS on the front. I think this is cool. Would I wear it? No, of course I wouldn't. But yeah, I think it's quite cool.
Well, you say if you wouldn't wear that, I think I found something that you probably would wear, Simon.
Okay.
How about for the more discerning time traveller?
Oh, I like what you say here. Oh.
That's been so. This is also official. This is approved by the BBC. It's the fourth Doctor cardigan, a very limited run on these, and they're rather expensive too. This is like 77 quid when I saw it. They're very limited numbers, a couple of thousand, something like that. And I think there's a waiting list. They don't actually get produced until March, sometime like that.
Wow.
So you could sort of have a pre-order on it for Christmas, but that would be your limit. But look at the detailing on that. It's very clean compared to Tom's, but you drop a few pickled onions down it, you can sort that out.
It's very, very cool.
Is that on brand or is that off brand? Because it just looks a bit odd to me, especially with the long sleeves and everything. I would prefer a waistcoat type thing myself.
It's an interesting point, Matt. I don't think Tom ever wore that without the jacket on. So I don't think we know. Did he, David? Did he wear it without the jacket?
Yeah,
all right.
He didn't, did he?
Wait a minute. What about that? Correct me if I'm wrong, Simon. What about that scene? What about that scene in toward the end of Robot where he and Harry are sitting there and he's trying to come up with the solution? You remember where he's
Gary
sitting at that table and
you're right.
I almost want to think that he's wearing that, but without the coat.
I think you're right. So I think that's the only point at which he does wear the cardigan without the jacket. So that would be the way of telling whether it's a tank top, which I think, you might be right, or is it a cardigan? So we need somebody, please go and check Robot now and let us know in the chat. I think you're right. There are photos out there now. Now I think about it, Gary.
Well, we've got one on screen. If you look at the televisions that are inset into that graphic, the one on the left, you can see his jacket is off, and it has sleeves. Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Okay.
The one with him and Sarah Jane there. So I'm afraid it is not a waistcoat. It is a jumper, but it's just made out of more modern.
With sleeves.
With sleeves. If Dan's right, and I think Dan could be, on that picture from the Ark in Space.
But this is, it's been officially approved by the BBC, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is on brand and screen accurate. It's the nearest, closest approximation they could get. I'd imagine that several cosplayers out there could probably do a lot better job. But it's certainly, would you rather be seen out wearing that or that? It's a question, really, isn't it?
I would buy the waistcoat, and then on Christmas morning, I would stand in my living room and stare up at the ceiling and soliloquize about humanity.
You're quite right too. It would be rude not to, Gary.
I don't really want to dress down Tom Baker. That's the thing.
the thing is, it's very cool, but only if you've got the jacket and the scarf to go with it. You're not going to walk around the house because you'll look like your granddad. But if you've got the jacket and the scarf to go with it,
I'd look like Adrian Mole.
Oh yeah, all that.
Or Frank Barth.
Yes, it's only going to cosplayers. Let's be honest. There's only going to be cosplayers wearing this.
Talking about your granddad. I don't know if you've been keeping up on Doctor Who news lately, Simon, but this old fella.
Of course I haven't. I'm not remotely interested.
I know that's why you now reconnect with us, so we can fill in the blanks. But I've got if you had been losing sleep over the short-term future of Doctor Who, we've got this reassuring news, haven't we, Charlotte, that everything is under control.
Yeah.
Russell T Davies knows exactly what's going to happen, so we're not to worry about anything, Simon. That includes you.
I'm worrying already. If he knows what happens in it, I'm scared. Because it's not going to be good if he's decided it.
I mean, he was smiling, which sort of makes it even worse when he said.
Oh yeah. I'm even more scared when he smiles. It's always even worse news.
Of course, he's talking about the Christmas special for next Christmas, so you've got 12 months to brace yourself, Simon. If you
be afraid. Be very afraid, as the strapline from The Fly goes. No, not remotely interesed. I've got a whole year to wait for this.
You got 12 months to get hyped, to get seduced all over again. You got 12 months, Simon. I think we can work. We'll see where we are in 12 months. He could win you over, couldn't he? Somehow.
No.
Hey, there's a flying pig.
He'll be secretly counting down the days.
I think we should go and see what people are talking about in the live chat, because they've been waiting patiently while we've been reconnecting here and catching up. I know they've got a lot to say. When haven't they? Let's go and check in.
Welcome to Type 40. Was that good enough? I hope so. Or exterminate.
Yes, hello, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. We are receiving you if you're receiving us. Okay, let's get rid of them. Get back to them where the action really is. Darren Bradley is here from the get-go. There,
hello, Darren.
Hanging around airports and pinched Grace Jones's luggage. Blimey, she must be knocking on as well now. Is Grace Jones still around?
Yeah, she is, and I see what he's doing there. I think he's referred. There's a costume that she wore when she sang "Slave to the Rhythm" on Wogan. That's very, very, very similar to that particular outfit. That might be what he's thinking about.
Yes.
Darren also speculates, David, that you may have learned everything that you know from Mrs. Slocum. From
Mrs. Slocum, Miss Brahms, and Captain Peacock, and obviously. Obviously, the whole lot of Grace Brothers. In fact, I did. I have to confess.
I'll never forget when she left a pussy out in the cold.
Confirmation here that Billy still has the red hair from Rob Alexander, Charlotte. So we've only got another 6 months to hope that she keeps that going, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm really hoping.
But the Zero Room says that she can't be filming anytime soon. I honestly don't think that a little thing like hair color would stop them at this point. Oh man, says, I think he'd just seen the Billy picture there with that one. Thank you. Who else is here? Garbage is here. Garbage Who AI says, I can't draw.
Hello, Garbage.
I can't draw either, he says.
Nope, me neither, Garbage.
Alex Batt, Simon, says the TARDIS looked good in those Billy Piper and Paul McGann pics that came out on Doctor Who Day, the AI ones that had all of fandom excited for about 3 hours until they realised that they weren't real. So it was more AI tomfoolery, Simon. Did that one pass
Missed
you by
those,
as well?
Yep, straight over.
6 hours of your life you'll never get back, mate.
I can live without it.
You've got the right idea, to tell you the truth. God, I love Capaldi's TARDIS, says Zero Room. Matt, the best of both worlds, I think we had with that old school appeal, but more space for people to move around.
I just love the bookshelves.
You're a bit of a reader as well, aren't you? So you could probably fill them up yourself.
Oh, more comics. I read comics.
Well, that counts.
Has to have a picture.
That counts. How was it for you? Says Rose Kirby. And was it wickedly good? What do you know that we don't, Rose? Which of us are you talking to?
That's a chat conversation. Somebody's gone to see Wicked, they just said.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Nicholas Horton has just come back from seeing Wicked for good.
Oh, here we go. So
it all makes sense.
We're keeping
not
things
the version
on
you mentioned, Dan. Not the version you mentioned, Dan, from the other week.
No, I got Simon. I got the title wrong. Charlotte, what's the title of the current Wicked movie?
Wicked for Good. What did you think it was, Dan?
I thought it was called Wicked All the Way.
So he had fun.
Yeah. That's a different kind of adult movie, yeah.
Yeah, so I went and searched for it on Amazon, see when it was coming out on Blu-ray, but no wonder I couldn't find it. But I did find something else. Yes, Rose Kirby says since Reality War, it's 188 days, so that's 26 weeks and 6 days, or 6 months and 5 days. She's not counting. Yeah. She's not obsessed at all. Just the Cardi, nothing else, and you'd be arrested, says Peter Harrington. Oh, yeah, you talk about Tom Baker. I suspect that Tom probably went out very scantily dressed a time or two, after a night on the pop with his mates, then dip over the shop to grab a paper and a bottle of milk, probably just wearing something like that, sort of pulled down to cover his whatever embarrassment.
Well, look at Life and Loves of a She-Devil. I mean, he wasn't even wearing his cardi in that, was he?
Oh, God, that scarred me for life.
I'm still going through therapy after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've forgotten all about that.
Things you can't unsee.
No, Charlotte, you really don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm safe. It's good.
Yeah, stay where you are, Charlotte.
You found out where to change.
Rose feels singled out here because we've been speaking about Rose so much. Yes, it's
it's all about you, Rose.
Tom from T-Dwarf Productions, he's into, I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm going to the cinema tomorrow. What are you going to see, Tom? You have to let us know.
He's off to see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, whatever that is. I haven't
that's a video game thing.
Is it?
That's good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy it, Tom.
Nicholas is a big fan of the original Oz stories. Who isn't? And it's lots of familiar names as ever, and lots of conversations inside conversations. It's all fine by us, as long as some of it sort of makes sense somewhere. Eventually, I'm sure it will. And let us know your plans as well for the next 3 or 4 weeks as well. Your Christmas plans maybe shaping up, even if they don't include Doctor Who on Christmas Day. So they've published the schedules, haven't they? The broadcast schedules. We've seen BBC One schedule, and it's very, very Doctor Who-less once again. I know that we sort of got used to this when that woman was doing, I can't remember her name now, but you remember the one. She had the funny faces and things. And Doctor Who wasn't on Christmas Day then for a little while, but we got used to it being on there again. It's gone. It's dematerialized once more. And in Doctor Who's place is Michael McIntyre again, who I used to think he was. I used to think he was the most irritating man alive until Ncuti Gatwa took the lead of Doctor Who, and it's a close run thing. So there we are. That's the schedule. Not a TARDIS in sight, but lots of the regulars are in place. The EastEnders, Call the Midwife, that's still there. Mrs. Brown's Boys, the unmovable Dancing Christmas special. It looks so tired, doesn't it, Simon?
It's not scintillating, is it? Let's be honest. Wow. It's not worth stopping.
I'd watch Shaun the Sheep.
What, all 10 minutes of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's all I'd find exciting. Oh, and the Julia Donald thing, the Scarecrow's wedding, that's probably quite, but nothing else really does it for me there, Charlotte, I have to say.
I'm sorry, you compared that to last year when you had a brand new Wallace and Gromit, you had Gavin and Stacey, you had... And there was another big thing. I can't remember off my head, like a big drama.
It was the Wallace and Gromit thing was the big thing that they said that was the big centre point, wasn't it, of their schedule?
Yeah, and that's just like you said. It's the same 3 shows they show every year.
It's awful that
they're also not Christmas themed. From the look of it.
Point, yeah.
Oh, Matt, don't be silly. They'll put some tinsel out on Michael McIntyre's wheel. Come on.
EastEnders, there'll be one person say Merry Christmas in the pub.
Of course they will, and then they'll have a punch up. I mean, what do you want for Christmas?
Someone's about to go down the flight of stairs.
Be the best Christmas Wolfwood ever seen.
There you go. But the question has to be, Charlotte, which of these shows is going to get bumped out for Doctor Who next year? Who do you think is under the sniper's eye?
Well, it won't be Gladiators because that's actually probably going to do well.
Yes, a new big thing, isn't it?
It probably be called The Midwife because I think they've said they're going to eventually finish that soon, haven't they?
Because they're going to the movie, aren't they?
I thought you were going to say they're going to the moon then. That'd be a brilliant end to the series. That'd be better than when the Colbys ended and she got taken up by the UFO.
I actually think Shaun the Sheep's going to get bumped because I think the special is only going to be 10 minutes.
You could be right. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Yes, so no Doctor Who this year. My money would be on Michael McIntyre vanishing again next year for Doctor Who, Charlotte, I have to say, which is...
I think makes sense, doesn't it?
The six slot in that sort of hour would make sense.
Bill Silver has joined us in the live chat there. That's a great... It's like a pirate's name, isn't it? Bill Silver. Or a highwayman. That's how I imagine you now, Bill. Please tell me you at least ride a horse, for heaven's sake. Sally Wagenblatt said that that's the worst Christmas TV I've ever seen. Gone are the days of Morecambe and Wise and the two Ronnie's Christmas shows. I'm afraid you're right.
Sally, yes, indeed.
Matthew.
Well, I'm surprised they're actually still calling it Christmas Day, at least.
Yes, I suppose so.
Yeah, how long do you think they've got on that? It'll be the festive schedule next year, won't it? The festive schedule, you bastards. The festive schedule, yes. That is the BBC's amazing Christmas Day lineup. Well, it's sort of half the day. If you can imagine, the morning's even worse. So I didn't want to depress you too much with that. But there we go. Absolutely shocking, as always. But then again, I'm not their customer, so it's not my problem, is it? Okay, but yeah, if you think that's bad, don't worry, because, of course, Russell T Davies knows exactly what's happening. Everything's going to be absolutely fine, and we've got no cause for alarm at all.
Dan, do you think there's any possibility that it will be the best Christmas episode ever? In fact, it will be the best episode ever. In fact, it will be the biggest, the highest stakes, the most spectacular action. Everything about it will be bigger and better than anything anybody has ever done ever before in the whole history of television. I'm waging that's probably what it's going to be all about, isn't it? At a rough guess.
I think that's what he thinks, but what he doesn't realize is that we know something he doesn't, and that this guy's coming.
This is Philip Roy from Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion, inside my Type 40 time and travel capsule, which is appropriate, since this is the Type 40 podcast.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bless him.
I think Gary, Phil's going to sort him out, isn't he? He'll show him what's what.
Oh, I cannot wait for that. It's going to be so great.
He's not going to know what's him, is he, David?
No, absolutely not.
I think we're all far more excited about that than anything that Russell T Davies can ever put his name to again.
When I just want to say real quick, when Russell comes out now and says, "I already know how it's all going to turn out," I put that right up there in the truth box with 2 seasons was always the plan, and I'm leaving because of my knees.
And it goes in the same bucket as well, Gary. Goes in the same bucket as years ago when he said there's going to be no break. He's going to be Doctor Who. It's going to be back, and there will be no breaks in it because it's going to be so fantastic, better than ever. Woohoo!
We've been on more than Doctor Who has.
What I defer to is that interview with where he's standing next to Stephen Moffat, and he's asked, "Do you ever have ideas about Doctor Who and all this and the other?" Russell T Davies goes, "No," and Stephen Moffat goes, "What? You don't sort of see things and think, oh, that would make a really good Doctor Who villain and a really good Doctor Who story, or wake up in the middle of the night and da-da-da-da." No. And so for Russell to have it already in his head and he knows exactly what's going to happen when actually it just turned into throwing loads of stuff at the screen and hoping some of it sticks. I don't actually believe I'm with Gary. I think it's a pure fantasy, and I really actually don't. That even if he has had a relatively good idea, unfortunately, with Doctor Who, when he puts those ideas onto a page, it causes the pages to dissolve out of sheer terror.
Well, I think that's what he's going to be spending Christmas doing. He's going to get his little bottle of white out, and he's going to take one of his other Shooty scripts that he did, and he's going to be whiting out everywhere it says Shooty, and he's going to be writing in Billy.
Come on, Gary. Come on, Gary. I think he's got his own little distractions at the moment.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
Worry about Doctor Who.
Matt Jones, Save Grogu, says he wonders if the incels will be back for next Christmas. I have no idea who you're talking about, Matt. No. But maybe. I don't know. Daleks and Tennant rumored to be back with Billy. Look, they'd be mad. I've said it over and over again.
You can place a bet on it now, and they'll cash in.
You are guaranteed a far better time with the Type 40 live playlist here. Not least of all, our show from the other day, our special chat, our conversation with young Bob. How fantastic was that, Charlotte? He has so much to say for himself, which I sort of thought that could be the case anyway. But my God, does that bloke like his Doctor Who, doesn't he? He loves it. He's full of ideas for it. Really lovely conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was nice to in a smaller setting, do a bit of a dig into why certain things didn't work. Like, we looked at the writing a lot. We spoke about the character of the Doctor. That was really fun to sort of concentrate on that stuff, which was like a nice change of pace.
Yeah, it was really good to have somebody so switched on, obviously from a different age group as well. Never backward in coming forward too. So, Bob will be back. He had a good time, so we'll probably be seeing Bob again on the show at some point in 2026. Go and follow him on social media. And if you haven't caught Charlotte and I and our conversation with young Bob, go and get that on the playlists, as well as everything else that we've been getting up to. I was going to say over the rest of the year, but over the last 5 years, it's all there for you to enjoy or to relive until your little hearts are content. If you hit up the playlists, as well as the Type 40 podcast, that's over at type40.podbean.com, and your very favourite podcatcher too. You'd have a hard time trying to find one that we weren't on, come to think of it. So knock yourselves out by all means. And this is Rumble X, YouTube and Facebook with your Type 40 Live, the big Who for Thursday, as always. And what a Thursday it's been so far. Very big, very bold, very surprising. Why do they keep doing this to us? As soon as we've got the live stream all locked down and set, they go and announce the next Blu-ray box set. As you say, David, this is what makes your mobile ping, 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 ping. I love this season. I can't wait. Haven't even had time to go and see what's on it or watch that trailer yet, but I know everybody's really excited. Wasn't a great surprise though, was it, Simon? There's only 3 or 4 sort of colour seasons left and things.
Yeah, absolutely. There are only a few seasons left, and I think we've all been sort of saying for a while, I bet it'll be season 21 next. But I think I'd go out on a limb here and say I think this is the one that we've all been waiting for in so many ways. I think this is so loved by so many people. I think it is arguably the best Peter Davison season, and there's just so much love for this, for Tegan, for Peter Davison as the Doctor, and the stories are just cracking.
Everybody used to hate them. This is my favourite season of Doctor Who, and I used to talk it up for years. No one seemed to want to know, and now everybody else loves it too. I'm in my element. Obviously, I don't need to see a trailer or read what's in it. I just went and pre-ordered this. The very first thing I did was just pre-order it, get that out of the way, and then as long as it's ordered, I know it's coming. It's not going to sell out or anything, Gary. Gary's not, is it?
No, I mean, no, I was frantically pre-ordering, and actually while I was in there, because I actually also had pre-ordered this morning the book that you just showed about the art of the TARDIS while I was in there. But no, this is an amazing season. Davison is at his height, and there's some great things. They're going all out. I mean, it's 10 discs, and I think they realize they are just
10 discs, Gary. 10 discs.
10.
They're pushing it all. They're pushing it all to the limit. Actually, no, it comes in. You have 2 options. You can either get the set with the twin dilemma included, or you can get the set without it.
Cruel, Gary, cruel.
You pay about £5 more, and you can get it without the twin dilemma.
Was it just a happy accident that you had the cricket jumper on anyway, David, when you saw this?
No, I put it on especially for the stream because I thought I'd dress up for everybody tonight in this. So I did actually have quite a bland brown jumper that I was going to be wearing, but no, as this news came in, I just thought I've got to wear this tonight now, haven't I?
Quite right too.
It's with knitwear.
Absolutely, life's better with a bit of knitting, and this I said earlier, and then in a message to you, Dan, that I felt like it actually moved me when I actually I was actually really emotional when I saw the minisode. Because it made me feel like I was 7 years old again, and I just thought, wow. In 4 minutes, Pete McTighe has surpassed anything that has been transmitted over the last 8 years.
And David, you know why it gets you emotional like it got me emotional? Because I was watching that and I thought Davison could absolutely pick up the baton and carry on playing the Doctor on television now for however long he wanted to do it. He has not missed a beat, and it's like you watch him and you go, man, what an amazing Doctor this guy was.
Well, it's funny, Gary. Go on, sorry, Charlotte.
I was going to say, like, in Power of the Doctor, like, he wasn't physically there in the scene technically. I know you guys probably don't remember this because it's Jodie, but it wasn't like a Sylvester bit where they actually in the scene the Doctor was physically there. He was like a hologram thing. And even then, Davidson just added so much warmth in his delivery, and you could tell he was this idea of a version of his Doctor reached out to Tegan in that scene, and it was about letting her have a bit of closure, and all of that was Davidson's acting that carried it. So and I was just so happy to see a trailer come back. I was so annoyed when they sort of announced last year, I think it was last year, that then now they're going to pick and choose basically when they do these minisodes and trailers. Because
I can see why they have, but it is good to know that they're back here and there.
I can, but it would have been a tragedy not to do a minisode when you've still got all the people alive for this one. And we won't give any spoilers for those people that haven't seen it yet. No spoilers on here, but it's fantastic. I've been quite critical of some of these minisode Pete McTighe trailers in the past, but this one, no, I think this is by far the best minisode, whatever you want to call it, trailer that they've done for this Blu-ray box set yet. It's perfect, it's beautiful. You're right, Gary, both Janet Fielding and Peter Davison just pick up the baton and run with it as though it was 1984 was yesterday. And it's very nicely written. It works like a dream, and so I just think it's by far and away the best. And it's actually quite low budget as well. When you look at some of the other ones that were high budget, look at season 17, that must have been a massive budget, and this is actually quite low budget, this one, but it works beautifully. So they managed to pull it off. They did what they said they were going to not do anymore, probably because they did it, I'm guessing, relatively cheaply. But it's beautiful. It's lovely. Go and watch it.
And I just want to say, just really, really quickly, I just want to say this is far and away my favorite Lee Binding cover. I mean,
I agree.
It's a total, the fact that he uses the caves, Davison, his face is dirty. If you look at his hand,
it's underlit as well.
The hand is bloodied and bruised, the one that's holding the bat's milk. His coat is a mess, and it's like, that is a gorgeous cover.
And what he's done, Gary, is to say that underlighting is from the end of episode 1 scene when they're in the cell waiting to be executed. So and of course you've got the regeneration effect behind him as well. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, yeah, of course you're going to put the regeneration effect behind him from the end of Androzon. It's beautiful. You're right, Gary. Beautiful.
Okay. Can I just ask you, for those who've seen it on the panel, and I'm not going to spoil anything.
No, don't
here,
spoil.
But no. I'm not a spoiler. When the end scene happened, did you scream as I did, sort of like, I want to know what happens next?
Of course.
To be honest, I feel that way at the end of most of them. The one with Vicky, the one with Leela. That's the way the majority of them make me feel. And this is why, and people get very short with me. People, sometimes people on the panel look at me in disbelief, and people in the live chat, they get really cross with me for saying this. But this is why I always hold out some hope for Pete McTighe, because this man can really write. He loves Doctor Who. He has got a feeling for that line between cozy and epic that Doctor Who used to walk. Russell used to know where that line was too. It seems to have evaded him. Pete does. He can locate that very evidently. If he can do it in more than 4-minute bursts, we'll be laughing. come Christmas, whenever it is, we're going to get the end of that.
That is the problem, of course. It's I'm going to sound very crass here, but it's very easy to write a 4-minute scene. It's not quite so easy to write a 40-minute episode with a full narrative that's not an isolated scene. But nonetheless, as I say, I take my hat off to this particular trailer. It works a dream.
Can I just say that I am really annoyed that they're going down the same route with the AI.
What in what way, Matt?
Well, they've added AI throughout the film. So
no, but that's what I'm saying. Has this been announced?
Season 13 all over again.
Has this been announced today that that's what they're doing with it?
No, it's called a restoration, Simon. That's how they get.
No, I know, but has it been announced that that's what they're doing?
When they released the season 13, again, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we haven't got time. But a couple of months ago, when we talked about season 13, they made it clear that this was now the model of every archive release that they're doing. I also know that it's not limited to Doctor Who either. I mean, I won't go into this now, but I do know that the similar AI upscaling is being used on other shows, which I simply can't talk about. Maybe there'll be a time in the new year we'll be able to talk about which shows they are. It would be fair to name them now.
Because to answer Simon's question as well, Simon, if you relook at the trailer, they actually use those snippets from the restored versions.
And does it look? I hadn't clocked.
Oh, yeah, very plastic.
Okay, I'll have a look. I'll rewatch it. I hadn't clocked that.
Fantastic. I don't care about the AI. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, good luck to you, David.
And I just love it for the story. And I'm so chuffed that we've got this announcement before Christmas because it's completely made my month.
I agree.
It's my birthday on Monday, and it's the perfect birthday present. So I'm overjoyed, and I love it. So that's me. Sorry.
No, I agree with you, David.
What's the release date for this for the people who know? It's March the 16th.
March 16th. This is the first time they actually have announced a date too, which I was also surprised about.
Yeah, I expect that to move. They might bring it forward. You don't know, but I would expect it to move. But it is nice that it's all together. 10 discs as well. See, I haven't read up on this yet. 10 discs. That's going to be a big fat shelf filler. Be careful how you say that. Season 21 at long last. I can't wait. This is my very, very favorite, and can't wait for our big chat about it some point next year, Matt. We're going to revel in all of those stories, all of those episodes, get stuck into the features, and yes, of course, we'll give them a hard time if we need to.
So you went into a phone box with a mobile
They
phone?
phoned me, it was raining. It was pouring rain, that's why. So I went there to get
So you went into a phone box and you had a mobile?
To cry in private.
I was hoping it was a TARDIS.
I know.
Onto something not controversial at all. Simon, I'm not sure how up you are on this, how much of this has got past you or not. But if I said the name Homo Aquus to you, would you know what I was talking about?
I would actually. This is one thing that I have clocked, that apparently Sea Devils is racist, isn't it? So, goodness me, I'm so glad I no longer enjoy Sea Devils from 1972, one of my all-time favourite stories. Thanks, Russell, for letting me know that. I'm aware of Homo Aquus. Do I care? No. Am I watching it? Maybe at some point, eventually. When I've got nothing better to do, David.
In this instance, in this instance, though, Matt, what's delighted me is that yes, Doctor Who fans have got angry about it. We got a bit angry about it, but they've also got very creative too. So people are kind of accepting the fact that Russell T Davies is a silly old Billy. We're not going to change him anytime soon. He'll be gone sooner rather than later. And so there's been various images like this caption here generated just to take the piss, which I heartily approve of.
Yes, I do too. It's cool.
well, I thought it was a gay cover band of a certain Dutch band that did Barbie Girl when I first heard that term. Obviously, I'm not being offensive. I'm just joking. So sorry.
Wait, but by Russell allowing them to do a re-edit called the Sea Devils, isn't he then endorsing racism?
Yeah, I couldn't understand this, Gary. I didn't get this. On the one hand, we're being told that Sea Devils is racist, but then on the other hand, we're celebrating the fact that there's going to be a new re-edit of the Sea Devils on television. I don't get it. Don't get it.
So you'd heard the news about them taking the scissors once again to another classic story, Simon, because we have been through this a time or two before now, haven't we? At least before there was the added attraction of colorization, but this time no such. Obviously, there's nothing to do, no work of that nature to do on the Sea Devils. It all exists in a good enough state, but they have still hacked it down to, okay, it's not so drastic, but 90 minutes even so from a tight story like the Sea Devils. Yeah, are you tempted to watch this re-edit?
I won't be watching it. No, I've just, funnily enough, I've just finished watching the Sea Devils on Blu-ray. I'm a bit behind, so I've been on season 9 box set, and it looks magnificent and it sounds perfect. And I have no desire whatsoever to see this hacked to pieces and ruined again, and flashbacks in, and no, I won't be.
Ben
watching.
Cook really wants you to be excited about it, Simon.
I'm trying, Ben. I'm trying.
he used a lot of exclamation marks here and uppercase to say to declare that he has edited a thing. It's on the 7th of December.
He's edited it. Oh, Ben, you just lost me. I was almost excited for a second, and then you killed it because you've edited it. Oh.
He illustrated his post there with a number of rather nefarious-looking emoji, which look like some sort of hostage letter. If you arrange them in a particular way. But I'm sure he meant nothing by it, and he just wants us to watch it and enjoy it. But it's a toss of the coin at the moment as to whether I'm going to be watching this or not. I've got...
I'm sorry, why do they let him near an edit suite to ruin another Doctor Who story? Is this the third one he's butchered to pieces? Or the fourth?
I can say he must have some very incriminating negatives somewhere of some nature. Charlotte?
But Simon, the other appeal is it'll have music from the new spin-off in the Sea Devils.
Yes! Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse.
There's going to be going with this.
There's going to be. I wouldn't worry, because the first time that the I guess the guy in the lighthouse or the building, the first one who he's scared and he uses the term Sea Devils, there'll be a chyron at the bottom which says the BBC does not endorse the use of the term Sea Devils, just to make it clear.
It is, yes, the soundtrack album has been released digital only for now. This, and the blurb says the soundtrack captures the drama and intensity of the series, blending orchestral grandeur with modern sonic textures to create an unforgettable listening experience.
I bet it will be unforgettable. That's one thing. I bet it is.
And we've got a track listing as well, which is obviously we don't know what any of these things really mean because we haven't watched it. We haven't watched it yet. Barclay's theme, one just called Aqua. We've got Aqua Den, which that could be. It reminds me of that bloke out of EastEnders. Lawless. So it's all obviously until we've watched it, we don't know whether this will actually be memorable or not. But at least it's not Murray Gold, Simon. This is why I wondered if this had piqued your interest.
Of course it hasn't. The only thing that I now worry about looking at it is Heroes, the final track performed by Alison Goldfrapp and Lorne Balfe. I do hope that's not a cover of the late, great David Bowie track.
Yes, it is.
No!
Yeah, it is.
No way.
Alison Goldfrapp, for the people who don't know, Alison Goldfrapp was very famous in the club circuit, wasn't she? Yep. And she said about this covering Heroes, felt deeply connected to the spirit of the series, which is about resilience and unity in the face of overwhelming forces. Working with Lorne was a wonderful experience. His ability to weave emotion and cinematic vision into orchestral textures brought a new dimension to Heroes. So she's very keen. Lorne himself, he doesn't seem that fussed, I have to say. He doesn't seem that bothered. But people are talking up this guy quite a lot. I've got to be honest, I've never heard of Lorne Balfe. I feel a bit of a Philistine. And Matt, have you heard of this guy?
No clue. And couldn't give a hoot.
They seem to, because obviously good music is good music. I like the fact it's not Murray Gold, Matt. I'd kind of like to hear something totally different to set a different tone. And in all fairness, I don't listen to a great deal of film and TV music anymore. I find a lot of it interchangeable, and I know next to nothing about classical music. And this man does have a pedigree. Goldfrapp, I loved a lot of their club and dance songs in the 90s and the noughties. Yep. David's nodding his head. I think he's dancing to one in his head right now in his mind palace.
Absolutely, but I don't want the cover of Heroes. Thank you very much. Heroes is just Heroes.
It's untouchable, David. I find it offensive that anybody would even consider covering Heroes.
Simon, Ben Cook doesn't know the meaning of the word untouchable.
I mean, they've even got a track called Into the Unknown. Have they lifted that from Frozen 2? I mean, for goodness sake, are we going there? Is that I don't wish to be negative, but I am a big. I can play the piano by ear. Well, after a while, I have to give that up because my ear hurts too much. But and I have to use my fingers. But I am a great appreciator of music, from classical all the way through to various different genres, and soundtracks are really important. And I don't have faith in the fact that they are trying to reimagine, as you quite rightly said, Simon, the classic track of Heroes. It's perfect. It's untouchable. It should be left.
Yes. Yeah.
And just left. And I am not. Soundtracks are really important to dramas, and I just don't. I'm sorry, but I just am worried that it's not going to be very good.
Well, I was worried. The way I looked at it was: is it likely that they simply couldn't afford the rights to use David Bowie's Heroes, and so they commissioned somebody to perform a cover? But I can't imagine. It's not like
they've used him in marketing before. Doctor Who this era.
Yeah, they have actually. You're right, Charlotte.
For was it Shooty's first season?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what track was it they used?
Oh, I know they used Changes.
Changes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was it.
So they have licensed him before.
Yeah, I think they would have got the rights to use it. I must be honest. I do think it's. I suspect it is a degree sort of hubris that they think that they can improve upon David Bowie. Oh gosh, wow.
Could be, of course, that Lorne Balfe just really wanted to work with Alison Goldfrapp because she is a very respected singer musician.
But write a new track then. Write a new track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Braddock says the Sea Devils is Malcolm Clark's Leave It Alone.
Yeah. I agree, Stephen.
Of course, now they have, for the re-edit of the Sea Devils, reworked elements of Malcolm Clark's cues from that, which I know primarily from this album, Doctor Who, the music. They've reworked some of them so that the music from both productions is supposed to blend, which only worries me even more, I have to say, Charlotte, because I remember what they tried to blend with pictures that Ben Cook was editing last year in those monstrosities. So I can't say this inspires a great deal of confidence either.
Well, also you've got music that's from one era with certain sounds from that era, certain machines and techniques from one era with modern. And if apparently the guy from this, and it'll be this Lorne's music, if he's classical, then that doesn't quite jive with sort of the when I hear Sea Devil's music from that original story, I don't think classical will go with it as like genres. And just to do with the heroes thing again, all the trailers for this Between the War, whatever it's called, Sea Devil show, all the trailers, it looks quite gritty, it looks dark, it looks sleek, it looks like we've sort of said like Line of Duty 9 o'clock slot. I can't picture heroes that sort of track.
I suppose it's hard until we see it, isn't it? It depends how it's arranged, how it's performed. It's very difficult to judge until we actually.
But just as a matter of principle, I'm wondering, why is it that the classic stories have to be changed to blend with the new stuff instead of the new stuff being created to blend with the classic stuff?
I simply don't know. I think it could be because it's going to look better on the people who work on it. It might look more impressive on their CV when they move on to the next project. I made this like that. I reworked X, Y, or Z. I certainly don't think they've given a great deal of consideration to what the viewer may want, because the fans absolutely don't want this at all. And I don't think that the casual audience, there is a casual audience for this. They just won't care. A lot of them won't realize they just will not care. It's something to boast about after the fact. See, I did it. You thought I couldn't do it. And it's to give somebody work for a few months when they would be sitting around twiddling their thumbs. I know that may sound cynical, but that does happen. It's like any business, and people look after their mates. I'm afraid that's how it is. I'm well aware that Ben Cook is a talented man. He's a good writer. I like a lot of his interviews. I own a couple of the various things that he's put out. The Writer's Tale's a great book. But on the strength of what we've seen so far, the editing and the music on all of those productions were very substandard. And we're going to get it all over again with another classic. So I can understand why this may wear people down. And the notion of it sort of blending into something else, I don't know. I think this is a recipe for disaster. We're overcooking the whole thing. We're going to find out over the next couple of days how it's all going to go. Good God. The CD of the soundtrack album to The War Between the Land and the Sea, that's not actually due out until 2026. So they're probably going to time the physical media release, Matt, for when it's on Disney Plus at some point. But the album has launched online now, and Goldfrapp and Lorne Balfe's cover of Heroes, that's getting released as a single on the 12th of December for people who may want to get it and sample it at least.
Yeah, I'll be amazed if it actually goes up to the it sells very well up to, like, I think last time wasn't that Goblin song?
Yes.
Like number one or something.
They tried Christmas #1 with it. They tried.
Yeah, I think they'll have the same result with this one.
That's when things went wrong with the world, Matt, when the Goblin song hit #1. That was the final.
The world went wrong when Bowie passed away.
It's like a clarion call for end of days. Ben Cook,
I think he would have put a nix to this, to be honest.
It was an order from Russell T Davies that classic Who had to blend in with new Who. See, as a fan base, as the audience, we're happy to blend those things together in our imaginations, in our minds. I think they've got less imagination than the people who consume the product. I have to say, I think they have. Crimpling Doubloon, he said, I would forgive them if they tried using the Laughing Gnome. The thing is, the Laughing Gnome is a terrible record. Let's be honest. I mean, I suppose maybe anything would improve it, but yeah, there we are. Something tells me they're going to lose a lot of money on this, says the Zero Room. I can't talk about that. We'll be covering it all in thorough detail, as much as our stomachs can dictate, at least over the coming weeks. Something that may startle some of us could be the notion. So here we are. Here's Kate Stewart. Kate's back in action. She's
looking dynamic as ever.
Almost spilt her tea, Simon. She's that alarmed by this.
That alert to action. Whoa, look at her.
Yes, so here she is, as always. Obviously, that's Gemma Redgrave. Been playing this character a very, very long time. But rumours have started to fly that this could be the final hurrah.
Oh no! What a shame!
Simon, you sound affronted. You
Oh,
sound
I'm
devastated.
heartbroken.
Get him a tissue, somebody.
I am. I'm just heartbroken because she's so good. I think she's such a good part, and she plays it so very, very well. I mean, why would I ever want her to leave? No, do stay, Kate. No, do stay. Oh, all right then. If you've got to go, go on.
Very convincing. I mean, obviously, this is what we now call in 2025, post MCU and everything, a legacy character, a relative of somebody we used to love, who they've sort of foisted upon us, I suppose. It's not all the fault of Stephen Moffat, though. Kate Stewart was created for downtime all the way back in 1995, originally played there by Beverly Cressman, actually with the late, great Nicholas Courtney. Really lovely stuff. And made her way to Doctor Who proper in 2012 for The Power of Three. 13 years playing this character for Gemma Redgrave. That's way longer than Nicholas Courtney played the Brigadier for, which is a sobering thought in itself. But doesn't she look totally different here? Or the Columbo's raincoat, Matt, and the sort of sensible middle-aged woman's scarf? She looks like Hyacinth Bouquet.
I've always wanted to know, and you guys will probably know better than I, but is the mantle of Brigadier, is that no longer used in the British Army?
No, it is. It's Brigadier. Yeah. It's Brigadier General. It's Brigadier General.
To me, it always just lost on me why they just took it away, because it has more of a presence than what they call her is. What do they call it? Just Kate Stewart. That's it.
Rubbish. What they call her.
I was going to say, Matt, I remember in The Power of Three, her whole sort of stick.
You saw that, Charlotte, not me.
Well, this was Matt. Of course I watched it. The whole sort of re-envisioning of the character initially was that I think she had a line, something to the effect of, she made them more scientific again. It was this idea of sort of going away from the military roots of UNIT and making them these more scientists and more sort of research and that kind of thing. So that would make sense in that way why the Brig title didn't sort of go with her if she wanted to sort of make UNIT a bit different. That was her initial sort of pitch when the character got introduced in that episode.
Matt's right though. He's onto something there, because this is something I'm not a big UNIT guy. I'm not a big Pertwee era fan. I don't really like the military and Doctor Who kind of mix that much. But it is weird that in the modern day UNIT, they don't use ranks at all. They're all on first name terms. So, oh yeah, hello Samantha, how are you, Maureen? Yeah, I'm all right. It's the HR department.
She comes off more as a nepo baby as well. That's the problem as well. It's just the fact that because she has no ranking, she really has no rankings. It's just like, it's just.
She's just got a famous father, hasn't she?
Yeah, it's just like a CEO job.
She's Zoe Ball.
Yes, Zoe Ball. Yes.
The role has been civilianized, it would seem, and Colonel Sexy Time Funboy is obviously the highest military rank in UNIT now, under Kate Stewart, but not as we know it. But
under an over a bit by now. The lucky bastard.
Exactly. In answer to Matt's question, it goes Brigadier General, Major General, Lieutenant General, and then General for the rank. So Brigadier is one up from Colonel.
Are we sure it's not Brigadette? Asks Peter Harrington.
I prefer that.
Ooh, no, it'd have to be a non-binary name, wouldn't it?
Plus with Kate, I mean, if somebody, drops off donuts for him, she'll offer him a job.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Shirley do that though already?
Oh, that's right.
She does donuts in a wheelchair.
You're right.
Yeah. They have to be under the age of 16 to be able to use heavy firearms and obviously a rocket launch.
Bazookas.
Yeah.
So Kate has featured opposite several doctors. So 4 doctors and someone else. So different combinations of characters. She's been around for quite a long time, Simon, had you forgotten how much a part of the furniture Kate Stewart had become? Because she doesn't really do or say a lot, does she?
Furniture is the right word, Dan. Sort of table springs to mind, or chair leg.
Oh, I don't think. I think she's more of a bureau myself.
Well, there's more wood in that, so yeah, you could be right. Actually,
didn't she turn around and say that she was the doctor's child or something?
No, they're all his children, Matt.
Oh, stop it, Charlotte.
So
yeah, they did. They did, Simon. She did. She turned around and said that. She said,
stop it.
That we're all your children, Doctor.
No, please make it stop.
At least that scene with Ncuti Gatwa there, he actually made her seem a bit more interesting. But yeah, it's never.
I must have missed that.
It's never really gelled. I mean, I did like it when she ditched the Hyacinth Bouquet look and went kind of hot in the Peter Capaldi era. I sort of responded to that. But now she's proper, she's kind of a bit mumsy and it's all gone. Yeah,
can we not be honest? Isn't she just, Dilla's ditch water? I mean, that was, I would have thought,
Yes.
She's just dull. That's a 4-letter word.
She's
That's
very one-dimensional, isn't she, Simon? She's very one-dimensional.
I'm even sure she's got one dimension, Matt.
I mean, there was much more. There was much more to the Brigadier than just he's the military guy. I mean,
even if he only had 5 lines in a story, his personality came across, didn't it, Charlotte? Whereas what we have with this woman is a lot of sort of muttering.
Well, there's 2 issues with Kate, and this has been a long-standing thing with her. She never challenges the Doctor. She says he's wonderful or she's wonderful, and whatever the Doctor says, she basically just goes, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. Like, there's no... Whereas with the Brig, he would challenge the Doctor at times. Mm-hmm. He would have an argument with
That was the interesting thing, Charlotte. That was where it got interesting.
And then the other problem was with Kate... So she's not challenging the Doctor and the Doctor's not challenging her back, but she hasn't got a second. I've been saying this for years. Kate needed a second in command who could have a different approach, who could have a different viewpoint at times, and have a bit of backbiting between them. Have a bit of, no, actually, I think we should do it like this. And Kate say, no, I'm in charge. And the second being like, yeah, but I'm in charge of the actual military side of it. You're in charge of this. There needed to be something dynamic-wise, but when you've just got her with nothing around her, it just becomes boring as hell.
There is a third problem with her, though, Charlotte. She's rubbish. That's the other problem.
Well, what about, I actually think
terrible at her job.
Kate's best scene, and she wasn't even the focus of it. Her best scene was in that Zygon confrontation with the boxes, because she had some agency in that scene, because how things were going to resolve there depended on what she did, along with the Zygon Clara, and because the Doctor was talking to her, it's a scale model of War Kate and all of that. So she actually had some agency in that scene. Other than that, I don't really remember anything that she did over the last few seasons.
It'd be a pity if she did depart without us ever really getting to know the character. I feel so they are hinting strongly that she may meet her end in the war between the land and the sea. But Gemma Redgrave herself, she's spoken about it. I don't know. If she survives this series, I don't know where she can go next. I've had the most extraordinary time and journey with this character, and through different series of Doctor Who, and now through this series. Every time I get the call, it feels like another gift. Long may it last. So we've got ambiguity at the beginning, but she seems pretty sure she'll be back by the end. So I don't know. Something tells me she's going to be absolutely fine. But in all seriousness, for this drama to work, this post-Watershed drama to work, they need to lean on the actors of any weight that they have. Gemma Redgrave, she's been, in all fairness to her, whatever we think of Kate Stewart, Gemma Redgrave's been an actress for a long time. She's been in some good stuff. She's an actress of age now and perfectly capable of realising a rounded character. Are they going to furnish her with the material to do that this late in the game? I think the odds are against it. but we'll find out, won't we, over the coming weeks. Pete McTighe said you'll be very surprised about the journey that she goes on through the show. Her character arc in particular for Doctor Who fans is probably the most surprising. So he's talking a big game. And he's been talking a lot of big games lately. So he's going to have to deliver on this, David, because we're watching.
Yeah. Do you he is going to have to deliver. And I love the work he did on the minisode. I loved his work on Wentworth. And I hope he writes a scene whereby her and Colonel Sexy Time Funboy get trapped in a giant wood-burning stove. And you can bet your bottom dollar that they would go up and be turned into charcoal. But seriously, he does have a lot to prove, because if his episodes, because I know Russell's written the first, hasn't he? If Pete McTighe's episodes actually show character development, jeopardy, storytelling, good plot, and the way that he wrote for Wentworth, then I'm more than happy for him to take us into the future. If he produces something like Lucky Day, then will be more nervous about him taking us into the future. If you see what I'm trying to say there, because narratively, Lucky Day was a appalling pile of horse shit. But if he manages to recover it and do something like he did with Wentworth, then I will be in his corner.
You never know. Obviously, she's going to be backed by the rest of units. People. Now we've got some ranks here. So there's Christopher Ibrahim, and obviously there's Shirley Bingham, who's the chief scientific advisor. We could easily forget. But most interesting of all is General Austin Pierce, again played by Colin McFarlane here. This is the character he played all the way back in 2009 on Children of Earth, a very, very long time ago. Quite why this character? Is it just the fact that he's a good actor? It may well be the case. I suppose we've only got a short time before we find out, Simon. I know you'll be delighted to learn that Trinity Wells is back, Simon, your favourite newsreader. She'll be back for this as well.
Do you remember?
Well, there we go. That's sorted it, hasn't it? Sheer perfection.
There's something resembling sea levels stridently sort of standing around there. Are you keen on these new designs, Simon?
No, I hate them. Does anybody like these? Oh, I mean, come on.
I do like them. But
do you? They're just rubbish.
I personally really like them, but I can understand why people hate them.
But look, they look more like fish people from the Underwater Menace than they do like sea devils.
Yes.
I mean, that's just do. So, look, truth be told, okay, it's probably a good design. The reason I'm being critical of it is because they're supposed to be sea devils, as I recall, and I've never seen a sea devil look anything like that. So yeah, fine. Create a new character, a new creation, if you want to, a new race, and call them something different. But don't try and make out that they're sea devils, because they're clearly not sea devils.
Don't say make out, Simon, because that's probably what's going to happen.
That is what's happening all the way through, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I've got a
It appears
theory.
that there are several casts of these creatures in this production. Matt, what's your theory?
My theory is that if you've noticed with the current, what they've been showing off and everything, is that there's a female and a male, and these seem to be like drone type non-binary ones. So I'm guessing that will come into it as well.
No, really, Matt? Do you honestly think non-binary will come into it? Wow.
Yeah, I reckon there's a male that
what a leap.
Obviously the male of the species, and then you have her, the other chick, and Gugu, the one played by Gugu.
See, this is Tired, and the general creatures. You know, they particularly Tired and Salt. They look more like characters from other Doctor Who story stuff, like the Underwater Menace, all those kinds of things. So I don't know whether they're going to expand the idea of life beneath any sea within the Doctor Who universe. I think we can only judge it, but very clearly these are meant to be sea devils. And the latest iteration of this character in the same way they've been redesigned before and then retrofitted before. I'm quite happy to see how this plays out, to tell you the truth, to see how if they expand on lore and add something to it, Matt. I'm okay. I'm okay with it because I want things to evolve, and I think this is quite a respectful design that is quite chilling. And when you see it up close, there are more similarities to the classic Sea Devil, I think, than initially appears. But there's obviously other influences and things in there as well.
I just think that they're going to wokeify the whole thing. I really do, especially with what they've done to the Sea Devils. Already calling them Homo aqua. I think that they're all. It's not like they're the same species. That's the thing, and I really think that will play into it. I really do.
We'll find
I think
out.
they'll have to explain.
Well, you'll have to tell me, Dan.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think they'll have to explain why you've got that design on screen, which is no human look at all. It's more creature-esque. It's more sort of, like you said, the classic. You can see it in there versus the other two, which have human faces.
I reckon they'll make them the warrior class. Warrior class.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant about some sort of caste system, Matt. I think they're going to expand on some sort of society in that. Before in the classic Doctor Who, we saw foot soldiers, if you like.
The main problem I've got with this is the whole point about the Sea Devils and the Silurians, both of who are misnamed. We know that they're just sort of they're names that people picked rather than their actual title of the species. But the whole point of them is they're lizards. They're not based on Homo sapiens. So it's just utterly ridiculous. The history of the Sea Devils and the Silurians is that they developed alongside, in the Jurassic period, etc., alongside lizards, and then they stepped aside, and apes, Homo sapiens, took over from them. So for them to have to have Homo sapien faces is just utterly ridiculous, pointless, and missing the point. So that's why I say, if you're going to do this, fine, just create an entirely new race if you want to, call them fish people or whatever you want to call them, and give them human faces. But they're not Sea Devils, they're not Silurians, they can't be. It's nonsensical. It drove me mad in the Moffat years. It's driving me even more mad now because they're even more human now.
It is the same principle.
Just don't want monsters anymore. They don't want to offend the monsters anymore. This is the stupid thing.
I don't know what it is, Matt.
They don't want to offend.
I think that they feel, Matt, that men in rubber suits are just not as marketable as they used to be. And if you can't afford to make literally everything CGI, then the best thing to do is to make things a little more closer, I suppose, to and particularly when you're looking at something which is, again, aimed at a different demographic. I think that you could get away with it. And it all comes back to your same point, Simon. In that case, why make them Sea Devils?
Correct, just call them something new.
That is that want, that need to fold this into Doctor Who lore.
Well, this is where it gets really annoying because it is pissing on the classic history, basically. That, let's be brutally honest, that's what it's doing. It's taking something that a far better writer than Russell T Davies created in the first place, and it's pissing on it, and it's subverting it, and it's messing it about for no good reason whatsoever, and it's subverting previous history from the show for no reason whatsoever. And he clearly hasn't got any creative ideas left in his head personally that he can come up with, so he's just going to pinch somebody else's. It's shoddy.
Simon, do you think that the re-edits are also pissing on what was done before? Of
course they are. Of course they are. Go, Charlotte.
I was going to say, the thing is, for a spin-off to work, you need a hook. You need something, because it's not the main show, especially at a time when the show is not doing well. It can't rely on the fact that it's got any link with Doctor Who, like Sarah Jane had at the time, like Torchwood did. So Russell needed a hook. He needed to justify a spin-off, because that was part of this whole empire. When he came on, he said, we're going to have this, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. And it's very clear that he was struggling, to me, for a hook. So he's gone to, Sea Devils. Like, that's the thing that's meant to get the fan base. I'm not talking casuals here, I'm talking the fans.
Yeah.
He's using that because that's the only thing that I can see any fan right now wanting to watch this for. But like you said, this is current day Russell. So we couldn't just use the Sea Devils from Classic. He had to modify it. He had to change something.
But this is where it gets ridiculous.
So Simon, why? Because obviously to have some sort of drama develop between the two species and for them to talk, to sit and properly talk rather than human beings talk, and for many rubber suits to sort of go like that. You know, people and a post-watershed audience are not going to take that seriously. No. They're simply not. So, but they'd already done it with the Silurians before, years ago now. People are used to Madame Vastrank. So why didn't he just use the Silurians again?
Because they're not there, I guess. I don't know. This is why it's just a complete hash. And this is why I hear what you're saying, Charlotte. And you're correct. Of course, you are 100% correct. But this is where it annoys me that if you're going to use something from the classic series because you need a hook and you haven't got any creativity left in your soul to come out with your own stuff, it's just ridiculous. So if you're trying to tap into people like me, dinosaurs like me, who are into Classic Who, there's no point trying to hook me in with the Sea Devils, but then give me something that's utterly ridiculous and nothing at all like a Sea Devil. Sorry, that's just not gonna work for people, for dinosaurs like me. And so I don't get where they're coming from. I don't get who their audience is. I don't think they do, and that's why this is clearly a mess.
Whereas back in the day, they knew Sarah Jane was for the children audience.
There you go.
Combined with the love for that character.
There you go.
Torchwood was okay. People reacted to Jack very well. People like Jack. But also, we had this growing audience that started watching when they were children with Eccleston. And by the time Torchwood came about, they were teenagers. So let's do storylines. Let's do slightly more adult stuff. Let's be fair, let's have the main show at that point, and I think this has always been an issue with New Who, was scared to death of having too much conflicts between characters on screen. Torchwood, that was half of the storylines, that they were arguing, that they were bickering, that they were doing very underhanded stuff to each other sometimes. So that's the thing, they had clear sort of audiences and directions.
I think, Charlotte, that's because prolonged conflict and deepening of characters over a longer runtime was something they had to trade off to fit the 45 to 50 minutes format of new Doctor Who. I think that was the one thing that I think they weighed that up, David. I think that they did so very, very carefully. And I think that both Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat very ably retailored Doctor Who to suit that format. But there was always going to be trade-offs for everything that it gained, and it did gain a lot from adapting to that format. There were trade-offs, and when they created Torchwood in particular, there were only 50 minutes episodes originally, but by the time they started to expand it with things like Children of Earth, then you've got a lot more room. And within the body of those general stories, there were several story strands going all at once, and very and I wouldn't say it was a supporting cast as such, with several recurring characters. And Russell T Davies himself has been talking about Children of Earth in particular this week. He said, I think you'll have fun if you watch this, meaning the war between the land and the sea, and Children of Earth together. Nearly 16 years ago, Children of Earth, believe it or not. So he says, I think you'll have fun if you watch this and Children of Earth together, because they're both about alien species or otherworldly species encountering the human race in an ambassadorial context. We use a lot of the same sets as we used in Children of Earth. You'll see a lot of the same staircases appear, a lot of the same corridors. It's in the same world.
Oh, wow.
Seems to be maybe that's to save some money, but I like the idea that there's some symmetry to this, because we have, again, this is a production, Simon, as long as we've been making Type 40, so many guests that we've had come on have said, why can't they make something like Children of Earth again?
Yeah, but
they're trying to.
I guess, he sold it to me straight away. We're going to see the same staircases. Wow, the same corridors. I mean, flipping heck. You've pulled the stops out, Russell. I tell you what, you pulled the stops out. That's got me hooked. I'm in. When does it start? I can't wait to watch this.
What a sell.
As a member of the chairman of the Staircase Appreciation Society, I would like to say that I am honestly absolutely chuffed.
I can't.
That, I'm not sure if they're spiral, open side.
I can't believe he's even come out. I cannot believe he's even said that as a sentence.
What he's speaking of in this, what he's speaking of in this conversation, what he's pointing to is a belonging of something feeling like it belongs, that it sits alongside other things, and that it fleshes out the world. And I think a few years ago we wouldn't have been so cynical about words and passages like this, but now it's difficult to take Russell T Davies seriously.
Yes,
it's difficult to indulge his nonsense and hyperbole
at
all. And so therefore a lot of us I think we're at a point where the people who are going to watch it have decided whether they're going to watch it or not, Gary, and the people who aren't, who have got no intention of giving this any time of day, are either happy enough or even looking forward to hate watching it, or just not going to watch it at all. I think, and it's a very clear decision. I don't think anything that man or Pete or Gemma Redgrave, any of them, I don't think any of the things that they could say or do, and I don't even think a nice score on that album is going to make any difference at all. People who are in are in, people who are out, and the general public, that's where the real battleground lies. And I can't call that. I can't call it.
Well, and I'm sure that you're correct, but the thing that confuses me, and it's confused me all along, and the quote that you just showed is the epitome of this. It's like this whole thing has been the epitome of mixed message. On the one hand, they're trying with all their might to separate it from the main show. And then here comes Russell with a quote like this, doing everything he can to convince people that they should watch it because it will remind them of the corridors that they loved from the old show.
Staircases, don't forget, Gary. Staircases.
It's like, then which is it? It's like, are you trying to separate it from the show, or do you want to bring in? Are you trying to go for all the similarities?
And just like Charlotte says, why do this with the music if you're trying to put distance at all? Surely maybe go back to the music from Children of Earth. I don't know. It all starts off this coming Sunday at the Sea Devils at 7 p.m. there on BBC4 in its new truncated 90-minute form. And then the War Between the Land and the Sea itself, BBC One, BBC iPlayer, 7th of December. It begins with episode 1, Homo Aqua. That's at 7:30. A Barclay's ordinary life becomes a world of terror when an ancient species rises from the sea as UNIT fights for control. The summit on the Thames reveals terrifying secrets. And there's episode 2 as well, Plastic Apocalypse, following at 9:15. They're both on the 7th of December over on BBC One and BBC iPlayer. Type 40 Live will commence our coverage on the next edition of the show in just a few short days. More on that later on.
Well, all I know is we better see the Merca rampaging through Piccadilly. That's all I know.
Can I just say 2 very, very brief things about it? And I will keep it very brief and down to 20 seconds.
Because we've got to go to the break.
What you're saying, yeah, I know. I need to go to the break as well. The issue about what you've been saying is identity. They're confused as to where the identity is. People love Children of Earth because it had an identity. The reason why they're having struggles with marketing it to people is because they don't know who the identity are to flog it to, and they've lost control. They've lost concept of the identity of who they're marketing to.
No, I agree. The disappearance of the Whoniverse branding implies, if not a 360, then a sharp turn of sorts. I just hope it doesn't disgrace Malcolm Hulke in any way. I think we all hope that. I hope it's not a complete retread. I hope it's not a complete disaster. I hope it's not sort of best part of 5 hours of any of our lives that we can't get back. I think we need a blast from the past, a different kind. Oh, sorry, mate. A different kind of blast from the past. He's been blasting. I think his trousers are very white, aren't they? Let's go and change the channel and pick up some tea the gold, where our legends were flogging us all manner of old tat, really. They didn't know any better. And let's be honest, neither did we. But I think I'd go back there anytime. This is the Type 40 Live Doctor Who ad break, and we'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.
In the history of robots, one breed stands out as the epitome of evil, and they're back to wreak mayhem and havoc. On my foot! Yeah, I've got the power. Inflict your revenge this Christmas on the new remote-controlled Dalek. Yeah, they've got the lot, the flashing lights, electronic banter, and the idle threats. And they're all useless when it comes to climbing the stairs. The new remote-controlled Dalek is now available for $69.99 by dialing 0800 975 4591.
Introducing Doctor Who, the complete history. An epic journey through time with the Doctor. Go behind the scenes of over 250 adventures featuring all 12 Doctors and discover how every story was brought to the screen in this official series of hardback books. Doctor Who, the complete history. Issue 1, $1.99.
Attention all Daleks. Look for these special Doctor Who packs of Weetabix. Each one has one of these 4 Doctor Who action games, 3 of these stand-up figures, and a secret message from the Time Lords. We must capture these special packs of Weetabix and exterminate.
Collect the special Doctor Who Weetabix packs and enjoy your daily wheat while stocks last.
Exterminate!
Yes, we're back with more Type 40 Live, Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook. The past, the present, and the future of all things Doctor Who might not necessarily be in that order. So I hope you've got some refreshments to hand, a good stiff drink, soft stuff if you can. Thank you, Karen. She heartily approves. Okay, so we're back here with the panel. I think everybody's sort of correct and present-ish. Let's go and find out, shall we? Here they are. Here we are. We've got Mr. Gary Akers here. Mr. Simon Horton, he's there. We've got Charlotte Shields there. David Milling over there. And right the way down under, and not for the first time, in the nicest possible way, Mr. Matt Pott. Ah. At least we're still laughing, everybody. At least we're still laughing. Hey. I don't know. Okay, so yes, thank you for the comments, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Bill Silver says, "I would love someone to build a life-size War of the Daleks board game. Would you?
Yeah, bring it on."
Peter Harrington noticed the complete history of Doctor Who stopped at the end of the Capaldi era.
Yes.
I wonder why, Charlotte. I think people run out of shelf space for a start. You know what? At the time, I didn't get on board with those books, partly because of pressure from those closest in my life, but partly because I thought, well, if I know what these part works are like, you'll buy it all, and then there'll be an update that you'll wish you had. And actually, the truth of the matter is that everything that's covered in those books is probably all you would actually ultimately need to know. Yeah. But there we are. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Yeah. Hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Case. Yeah.
Oh, well, I quite envy you. I have to say there, Gary. Okay, Gary, David, blimey, get him.
Oh no, I have the whole set too.
Yeah,
it's in the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I answer to most things, so you know.
I think we've spent far too much time in the 21st century, Simon. You?
Far too much time. I don't like it here.
Happily, we've got just the book to dive into to bring the balance and take us all back to our happy place.
Well, yes, indeed. Here we are, back with the diary. Gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been far too long. since we had a diary. So welcome one and all to the diary. Who's up for the diary? Bring it on. So yeah, if you're new to the show, this is where we look back at what was happening in Doctor Who history in all the decades, right the way back to the beginning in this particular week. And so obviously at the moment we are looking at the very first week of December. And so it's I can hear the TARDIS wheezing like an old Grampus as we sort of set the time coordinates to whiz back through some of the decades and see what was going on. 18 new episodes were screening this week in years gone by. An Unearthly Child, to use, as far as I'm concerned, its correct title, although of course Doctor Who Monthly magazine, as it is now, always disagrees with me and insists on calling it 100,000 BC, but it's still always going to be an Unearthly Child to me.
Simon, do they still insist on doing that?
Yes, they do, and they still insist on calling the first Dalek serial The Mutants. Come on, guys, stop it. So anyway, An Unearthly Child was episode 3 at this point. The Dalek Invasion of Earth, episode 3, also at this point. But we're going to come back to the Dalek Invasion of Earth in a little while for a reason that might surprise you. What else was screening this week? The Invasion, episode 6. That's the big one when finally the Cybermen finally invade London and things finally begin to actually heat up a little bit. I do find the invasion a bit dull up until the point that the Cybermen break out.
Enough to let Ben Cook have a pop at it?
No, not a chance. You keep your scissors away from the invasion, Benjamin Cook. What else was happening? The android invasion, not one of my favorites. The androids of Tara, not one of my favorites. I find the androids of Tara a bit dull. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one is a bit dull.
Yeah, State of Decay. Now that's a classic story in my estimation and perfect for this time of year. Anybody that hasn't seen State of Decay, go and watch it. It's just perfect for December. So episode 3 of that was screening. The Trial of a Time Lord was almost at its bitter end, but not quite. We still had a couple of weeks left to go on the Trial of a Time Lord. And Survival episode 3 brought the entire original run of classic Who to an end this week back in 1989. Although I could argue that Flux episode 6 back in 2021 brought it to another kind of end of its own sort. Back in 2021, that was screening episode 6 of Flux. How many episodes were there, Charlotte? Can you remember? Was that the end or was it still ongoing?
I think that was the end because that
was it, wasn't it?
So it was a reduced episode count. So I think that was the end.
So just like Survival 3, it definitely brought something to an end. That's for sure. Thank God. So we'll be coming back to some of these episodes in a little while, but firstly I want to wish a very, very happy 50th birthday to one Noel Anthony Clark, better known as Noel Clark to you and me, better known as Mickey or Ricky, depending on which particular dimension you happen to be in, whether you're in this one or a parallel dimension. Noel Clark is 50 this week. I think it was yesterday actually that Noel Clark was 50, or is it tomorrow? Oh, I can't remember. Does it really matter? Happy birthday, Noel Clark, this particular week. Noel Clark, 15 episodes. Noel Clark was in between 2005 and 2010, as I say, playing both Mickey and Ricky. And of course, he's in the very, very first episode, Rose, back in 2005. Noel Clark assumed on Doctor Who getting a younger audience than it was kind of intended for, and so that's why he sort of admits now it was maybe a bit of a mistake to make Mickey in series 1 quite as slapstick as he was. Have you clocked this, Charlotte? That's
literally the image I have of Ricky in that first episode is him when he's captured by the androids and he's literally cowering on the floor and like clinging onto Rose. So he was written as an absolute wet lettuce, to put it lightly.
And it's a shame because then in series 2 that they really up the ante on him, and he gets far harder edged, far more gritty and realistic.
I love one of my favourite scenes of his. I think it might still be in season 1 though, series 1, is when Rose comes back. And it's like, and he basically tells her off. He basically lays into her, saying, "You've left me. I had to deal with all that fallout, and you're just going to swan back off again." Like,
I think is this Boomtown?
Yes.
I think it's Boomtown, isn't
proper,
it?
Like, and you can see her reaction. She's surprised that somebody who was so weak before has actually got a bit of courage now and saying, "No, I've had to deal with all this stuff, while you've been swanning off with your lover boy." It's like, it's very good acting from him.
It is good acting. I mean, I think that in many ways what they do with Mickey in some of the early episodes is they make him a bit of a buffoon, and I just end up feeling sorry for him because he's treated like an idiot. I feel he's treated quite badly. Rose, if anything, much as I love the character of Rose, and I do feel she treats him badly. They are laughing at him in Boomtown. All three of them are laughing at him in Boomtown. And at one point he says, "Look at you, you think you're so clever." And it bothers me, Gary. I think Russell T Davies has this quite unpleasant, nasty streak in him every so often. I see it again in things like Harriet Jones. It's a cruelty that he destroyed that character. It's the same with... what was it? Was it Adam? Was it Adam that was in The Long Game? Adam. Again, it's a cruel streak. Adam was a nice enough kid, but Russell T Davies just couldn't have that. He had to just crush him and destroy him. And the same cruel streak comes out to me in some of the interactions with Mickey, where he's just treated like an idiot. And I find it very disconcerting part of Davies's writing that he has to destroy and ridicule characters. He's a bitter and twisted old man, I think, in many ways, Gary.
Well, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, it doesn't match what the actual tone and the message of the show should be, which is like everybody deserves respect.
Yes.
And I've never believed in real life or television that you have to, build up one character by tearing down another.
Yeah, I don't like it. As I say, Davies comes across as bitter and twisted in many ways in that respect to me. But I love Mickey. I don't like Mickey in season 1. I must be honest. I do like him in series 2, and he becomes a full-time companion in many ways. In School Reunion, that's when he sort of really comes into his own, and I feel he really blossoms. Little bit of background about Noel Clarke. Born in Notting Hill in London, won't surprise you to find that out, I dare say. Studied media so he did media studies at the University of North London. And I don't know whether you know this, David. His first job, he started working as a personal trainer. That's where he kicked off his career, was as a personal trainer before he decided to take acting classes at the Actors Centre in London. And his first television work was on metrosexuality in 1999. Do you remember that? Does anybody remember that? I do.
No, I don't remember this at all.
Vaguely.
I remember him Our Vida Same Pet.
Correct. Correct. That was in the relaunch of Our Vida Same Pet. He was a big part of that. He's in all manner of things, David. The Bill, Judge John Deed, Casualty, Waking the Dead, Doctors, Holby City, A Touch of Frost. He's done a heck of a lot of stuff through the years. He's very much. Well, I think I'd argue that he's a character actor. And there aren't in many ways many character actors around anymore, but I think he is. And I think personally the fact that he turns Mickey around so massively between the first and second series, and then Ricky feels like a different character, I think he's proof that he's a character actor. As a result, it doesn't surprise me to discover that he won back in 2003, a couple of years before Rose even hit the screen. He won the Laurence Olivier Award for Most Promising Newcomer, and then in 2009 he won BAFTA's Rising Star Award. So this is an award-winning guy. He's won stuff. He's very much revered, or he certainly, back in those days, he was revered as one of the thrusting new upcoming stars. And then, of course, absolutely, he sort of fulfilled it all because he wrote and directed this little number called Kidulthood, and then it had the 2 sequels, Adulthood and Brotherhood. And people still talk about these now. These are quite a phenomenon. Has anybody seen any of the Hood trilogy?
Yeah, I really like them.
They're good. They're really good. Yeah. They're well made films.
Solid, well made, brilliantly cast, and just really energetic. They feel to me like films that mattered. They feel relevant. None of it is exaggerated. You can tell that it just feels really, really grounded while still being really entertaining as well.
Yeah, great. But as I say, everybody will always remember him as Mickey first and foremost. David, any thoughts on sort of Mickey?
Yes, largely with you on season 1 and series 2. And this is something I was chatting with Dan about yesterday. One thing that I think that Noel Clarke brought to the role of Mickey and Ricky was a scene that would have been, I don't think, very well utilized in The Age of Steel and the Rise of the Cybermen, very well by somebody else. And it is a very, very small scene, and it's when Mickey sees his grandma, who's blind, and it's actually Ricky's grandma.
Lovely.
Who's still alive, and the camera pans to that tear on the stairs that she ultimately, in Mickey's universe, fell over and died. And you see him look at that tear as the camera does from the POV, and then you see his face, and it is just no words. It's just that sort of realization about the fact that this is how my grandmother died. And it's a wonderful, wonderful piece of understated acting that was handled beautifully by Noel. And I don't think, coming on the back of what you were saying about Russell T Davis's writing, I don't think that Russell would have handled that as well as Tom McRae did. And that's where I see actor working with director, working with writer, in a wonderful synergy to bring you such a really, really sad scene.
Poignant, very poignant.
Poignant, yeah, in such an underplayed way, which worked for a brilliant interpretation of drama.
Anticipating where the audience could fill in the rest and leave room for our emotions, David, I think.
Absolutely. And the talent that Noel had and had developed through his career, that was the shining moment for me that I just thought, wow, this guy's good.
He's a damn good actor. David, my other favourite bit from Mickey is in School Reunion when he suddenly realises he's the Tin Dog. Again, beautiful writing, but beautifully played as well. Charlotte, do you have a favourite bit from Mickey?
I'm just, you talking, I was just going through my head. And I think actually another thing on that vein of non-verbal and little things, it's in the 2-parter finale when he comes back and Rose sees him for the first time when he's pretending to be a scientist in Torchwood.
Yes. And there's that moment, isn't there?
Yes, and they look at each other. And he sort of has a little bit of a sly smile, and he sort of does that. And it's the playfulness. I think that's the other thing. It's so hard to be, like you said, have the heart-wrenching emotional beats, but then he could have that playfulness and that little bit of like to Rose winking and saying like, it's me, but don't say anything.
Yeah, because it's beautifully underplayed, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just very quick. And it
very
doesn't
subtle.
linger too long. And
Correct.
I think at times with Tennant's run, especially near the end, David did, like, as a show, it sometimes didn't know when to stop.
Got a bit self-indulgent, didn't
it? Everything sort of went a little bit over the top at times.
Yes.
And sometimes you just wanted a little interaction to last for as long as it needed to and then stop. So that's sort of another thing that comes to my mind with Noel, and he was very good at that side of it as well. But it is pumpkin time, so I do need to go.
So we're going to say goodnight to you, Charlotte.
Good night, everybody. It's been a lovely chat.
Good night, Charlotte.
Good night, Charlotte. Good night. Take care.
Night, Charlotte. Let's not forget as well that, of course, Noel wrote a Torchwood episode. We've spoken about Torchwood a bit tonight. Yeah, he wrote the episode Combat. And, of course, he went on to numerous films as well, to appear in numerous films. Star Trek Into Darkness was one of the big films that Noel was in. I just think he's a very, very talented guy. I love his subtle style of acting. That's why I think, as I say, series 1 just doesn't show him at his best because of the way the character is written, and B, the way he sort of runs with it. And I think he realizes then, actually he can get a much, much stronger character by bringing it down. That's what he did.
Completely commits to the material
You're right,
given, and the character he has to play and makes it real. But yeah, it does expand considerably. And Noel Clarke himself really deserves a lot more credit, I think, for making Mickey. I think Mickey was a very important character to the Russell, actually not just the Russell T Davies era. I think even now, a component part of making it clear that Doctor Who, Gary, could have a expanded supporting cast who didn't need to be present all the time. But us to continually think, I wonder what Mickey's going to say. What will Mickey do if he hears about this? Or it was that kind of thing. It's like he was always there, even if he wasn't there. And it was the same with Jackie.
Well, his character absolutely did have an arc as well. I mean, I think the reason why I think I liked him much more in season 2 is the way he was playing it was effectively saying to Rose, I've outgrown you. Without actually saying it, and to see her be thrown by that, because she liked the dynamic where she was in control and he was at her beck and call. And
not many of them don't, to be fair.
Well,
did I say that?
Did you say that? No, I don't think he really said that to anybody.
Sorry, girls.
But to say that no, I've moved on now, and I'm fine with that. Now you deal with it, and I think
he was much stronger,
very subtle. But much more compelling.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think with Noel Clarke, he's never anything short of highly interesting to watch. Everything that he does, I just find interesting. He's never a boring actor to watch. Whatever he's doing, he's never pulling focus, which is, again, something that as a companion, there's always that danger. And I think in many ways, I feel that Noel Clarke was handed the absolute short straw with parts in that series 1, because obviously there was the Doctor, there was Rose, who was by far the star companion, and he was kind of playing this sort of gooseberry in the middle. So I do feel that as an actor, he was handed a short straw. It was a tough one to get the level right, and I think he gets it right far more than he doesn't, and all credit to him for that, because I do think it was a tough part for him to play, and I just find him always great fun and enjoyable to watch. He's just a pleasant actor, I think, to spend some time with while you're watching. So happy 50th birthday, Noel Clarke. We salute you. Now we're moving back. We're setting the parameters a little bit further back now. We're moving back to talk about an episode that was screening this week, back in 1987, in fact. And that's an episode called Dragonfire, episode 3. Yeah, do you like this one, David?
I love it. I love it because it's just awful. It's not awful, but
it's cheesy. It's cheesy.
It's so bad. It's good.
I get it. It's kind of as close in many ways to a pantomime as I think you got in Doctor Who for this time of year. Yeah. So I always thought it was perfectly pitched to be screening or finishing certainly screening in December. So yeah, this week saw the end of season 24 with episode 3. of Dragonfire. 4.7 million people were watching this, so sadly this was when Doctor Who was beginning to dip in popularity. There's no two ways about it, unfortunately. But I say, yeah, last episode of season 24, also the last time we see the TARDIS interior until the greatest show in the galaxy, when it is a greatly reduced TARDIS interior. So this is the last time in many ways that we see the proper, correct, in inverted commas, classic TARDIS interior. So yeah, Dragonfire, written by Ian Briggs. What? There's sort of lots that. I mean, there's Kane, of course, on the left-hand side. I really don't know what to make of Dragonfire. I think I think there's a great story in there struggling to get out, and I think it loses the fight. I will be brutally honest. Is there, apart from David's sort of love out there, is there any more love here?
I've got a lot of time. I've got a lot of time for this story, and even though I believe Delta and the Bannerman is superior in every way, there was from the broader fan base and from sci-fi fans generally, there was a bit of a heave of sigh of relief when the story screened, because although now it looks rather tawdry and insubstantial, it at least felt like a functioning, recognizable sci-fi story that had it was punchy in places. You could see the things that it was pulling from, and it kind of pushed Doctor Who on. Doctor Who was still behind the times, but this at least gave it a nudge to catch up to some extent with this. I think this is what people wanted from Doctor Who, more or less, and it was recognizably the same show that people had grown up with. But, and I'm a big believer in the 3-episode format too, but it obviously doesn't connect. It doesn't quite work, but there's a formidable villain. Everything is in there to make not a great story, but a serviceable Doctor Who story. And in some ways, I do think it's very, very, very memorable, and particularly this 3rd episode. I think that it ends really, really well. I think it all comes together well in a way that some of the more overblown stories in season 26 kind of don't, almost have too much in there. I think this ends really actually quite confidently at a time when the series had appeared over the preceding 12, 13 weeks to have seen like, oh, this show is like The Walking fucking Dead. There's no way they're going to commission this again. And then this final 25 minutes, there's just something really reassuring about it that I've never quite been able to put my finger on. I'd like to say that it's Sophie. I think Sophie is brilliant for the most part. The whole cast are good. I don't know what it was, but it's as if something finally connected and we wouldn't see where it would go ultimately for a little while after.
I mean, as TARDIS Travels 1963 says, it was overly lit and studio bound, and
they were all overly lit and studio.
that is part of the problem, I think. You know, it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. I mean, the ending, I remember being very, very impressed with Kane's melting face at the end. That's very, very a very impressive piece of work, copied blatantly and deliberately from Raiders of the Lost Ark. But you know, we can let it go because it's still an impressive piece of work. By the way, that's melted head is still on display to this day in Neil Cole's Museum of Classic Sci-Fi up in Allendale.
Wow! So most of the story was lifted from somewhere else.
Yes,
mashed together.
Aliens, the bug hunt is just straight out of Aliens.
Were they hoping that people wouldn't realise? I don't know. I think they knew that they'd got a crappy time slot. I think they knew that people were a bit tired and were probably thinking about going to go to bed. And I don't think they stopped trying, but they used it to experiment in some respects, but they did a lot of cheeky things. I don't think the cheekiness of this is any worse than the cheekiness of The Brain of Morbius, for example. It's just that the production. You see what I'm saying?
Tonally, I do.
Tonally, it's wildly different, but I think all of this is perfectly viable and no harm, no foul. But
yeah, I mean, go on.
Sorry, Simon. And also, we must remember that Andrew Cartmel was only just getting his feet under the table to try and shape things for the future. And what they've actually done absolutely. They've paid homage to several things here and tried to tie it in all together. But for once, it gave a sort of like a supporting character in the form of the assistant, so to speak, the companion, as an air of mystery as to, right, so she was just in a bedroom in mid-1980s Perivale doing a chemistry experiment, and she's, how on earth has she been transported to this place?
It's a tough sell, isn't it?
It is a really tough sell. But then that allowed for that, the dynamic that Sophie had with Sylvester and the Doctor had with Ace was sort of like, oh, this is a bit different. Here's somebody who doesn't scream, who's a bit kick-ass, who's a bit sort of, I'm not really bothered, all right, sort of teenage attitude coming in, which was a case of, oh, this dynamic is going to be different. And I wonder where it takes us. And ignoring the botch cliffhanger that's over the thing.
I mean, unfortunately, that is the sort of the millstone around Dragonfire's neck, is that cliffhanger of episode 1 that nobody can get beyond. And people are commenting about it in the chat now, quite understandably, because it's an absolute stinker.
They explain it better in the book. They explain it better in the Target book about what he's doing when he tries to go over the rail. And the one thing about this story is that if you just see it the first time in isolation, with Ace is just there, oh, I had a storm in my bedroom and I'm here, and you're going, wait, what? But then by the time you see Curse of Fenric, this story rises in importance because now you have the context for what she's talking about. The only thing for me is, and I overall enjoy this story because you have a very evil villain who's after a definable goal, which helps. And it's just for me, the only niggling point about this story is the complete non-explanation for why Mel is leaving. It's like, it's a very well played scene between the two. I think it was her audition scene, but it's like, wait a minute, why are you leaving again? What it was, Gary, it was the audition scene that Sylvester McCoy played actually for the Doctor. It was that scene. That was the scene that they reused for Mel. And part of the problem might be, Gary, that they didn't know, they weren't certain at this point whether Mel would be staying on, whether another companion would be coming along or not. The scene, the intention originally was that Ace would be going off with Sabalon Glitz in the Nosferatu, and that Mel would be staying with the Doctor. But so it does become extremely difficult. Again, it's a tough sell that why is Mel suddenly going to fly off into the wild blue yonder with Sabalon Glitz. It's an odd thing to work out, and of course also there was so much change in this season because at one point Ray was going to be the companion from Delta and the Bannermen, and it wasn't going to be Ace. So this scene again, that's where, as I say, it would have been Ace that would have been flying off into the sunset with Sabalon Glitz. So it's all this behind the scenes stuff that was going on that ultimately means that it maybe doesn't quite gel. Interestingly, Lynn Gardner, who was the original actress cast as the part of Ray in Delta and the Bannermen, and she, if you remember, she lost the part of Ray because sadly she was involved in a motorbike accident shortly before filming on Delta and the Bannermen, and so she was laid up in hospital, and so she lost out, and that's why Ray was recast. So she lost that part, but as a result of that, she was still under contract. So they gave her, she does the voiceover announcements on Svartos in Dragonfire. It's her voice that you hear, and they gave that to her as a sort of a consolation prize for the fact that she'd missed out on Ray from Delta and the Bannermen. And so they gave her a sort of little nod in this one.
Can I say, the monster really let me down in this, the creature. I felt that it looked really, really like
it does
cheap, and it just looks like a person in a suit. And
it would work better, Matt, if it was underlit. That's again is part of the problem. It's the overlighting.
Yeah, you're right. If it was in the dark, it would have, or with some sort of like coloured filter or something, it would have looked a lot better.
Or also, to be honest, if they directed it better, whereby they'd used it just in tight shots, when it's in tight shot, it works okay. But you put a full, put a full frontal, and it just looks utter rubbish.
Yeah.
Well, this was in what was it? This was in 1987. They still haven't learned that lesson, because that's one of the things that ruined Alien Earth, is showing the creature like right outside in the bright light of day. So they still haven't learned that lesson.
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem with Dragonfire full stop, here's a fun fact for you. Andrew Cartmel, as you say, David, wasn't long with his feet under the table at this point. And one of the things he got his writers to do, he encouraged all the new writers to read Doctor Who, The Unfolding Text. Now, yeah, exactly. Now, if anybody out there has read Doctor Who, The Unfolding Text, they will know it is utterly impenetrable. It is mind-bogglingly nonsensical. It's impossible to read. And so why he got them to read this, I don't know. That might explain some of the problems with this particular season. Ian Briggs apparently even went as far as using some of the Unfolding Text as dialogue in Dragonfire. If anybody knows where they are, do please tell us, pop in the chat, because I've never got beyond chapter 1 of the Unfolding Text. So I'd love to know where the dialogue is.
Has the nice red cover, Simon.
That's the one. It has the nice red cover. Yeah.
I remember being so happy that Mel was leaving.
Yeah, I was with you on that one.
I was just like, oh yeah, bye, see ya.
But then, as I recall, if I'm right on this, in that leaving scene at the end, unfortunately, Bonnie Langford does an awful. At some point, halfway through the scene, I'm sure. Yeah, am I right, David? Am I remembering this right?
Yeah. They do a very interesting.
And you just think, why didn't they just retake it?
They do a very interesting retcon later in one of the books, which is that the Doctor, like, semi-hypnotized her and made her leave, because in hearing Ace's story, he knew that Fenric was like circling around somewhere, so he manipulated Mel to leave so she'd be safe, and that Ace would be closer to him so he could kind of monitor what was going on. I thought that's a retcon that actually, when I first read that, I thought actually worked.
It makes a little bit of sense, at least.
Simon, I'm very fond of Mel as a character. I am. But whenever I think back to Dragonfire, I forget that Mel was even in it. I think she next to disappears in this.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's anything that Bonnie wasn't doing.
No.
I just don't think
they started lying because of Ace.
Yeah, well, I don't think Ian Briggs was remotely interested in her. She was given nothing of any consequence to do. She became just somebody for Ace to talk to.
Yeah.
She felt like a supporting character in her own show.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst that makes mechanical sense, it is a pity when you look back, because Bonnie Langford didn't have an easy time on the show, even though she's only there for 12 months, and she's been so loyal to the series.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel terrible for not including a picture of her in the diary segment.
But you don't think,
just forget she's there. And you should never forget that Bonnie Langford is anywhere.
But she was poorly served.
Yeah, whenever we think of Bonnie Langford, then and now, that woman has masses of charisma, and she was absolutely right to leave. Of course she was. As a child, I was with Matt. I couldn't wait for Mel to go, but that was necessarily a reflection on Bonnie herself.
No, absolutely. And a couple of very fun facts to finish on Dragonfire. Here we go. The first one is that Tony Selby apparently caused quite a few delays while he got his sideburns checked. You had a photo a little bit earlier on of Tony Selby with those infamous sideburns that he first sported in The Mysterious Planet. And apparently he caused some considerable delays getting them checked to make sure that they were the same as they've been in the Mysterious Planet.
Ooh,
so and the other fun fact, I don't know whether it's a fun fact so much as an icky fact, is that Ian Briggs had it in his mind that, and this was part of the original plotting of Dragonfire, was that Ace had lost her virginity to Glitz. Yeah, thank goodness that did not make it to screen, but it was in the original story outline.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, it was a hard knock for her to be a waitress. That was the thing too, because I was like, you're not really getting into the whole planet thing.
She must have been on some mind-bending substance.
Hopefully they won't.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't turn that into a Big Finish box set.
Oh. So there we go. Happy birthday to Dragonfire as it rumbled to a close back in 1987. Now then, we're spinning even further back in time for our final entry in the diary this week. And now I mentioned the Dalek Invasion of Earth a little bit earlier because episode 3 of the Dalek Invasion of Earth, otherwise known as Day of Reckoning, there we go, was screening this week back in 1964. Dalek Invasion of Earth, I think, is one of those stories that should be a lot better than it actually is. It sounds so good. The book is so good. Somehow the TV show doesn't quite live up, I don't feel, to its promise. But anyway, it was midway through its run back in 1964. Somebody who might have agreed with my sort of feelings on the Dalek Invasion of Earth is William Hartnell for reasons that will become apparent in a moment. But certainly, the Dalek Invasion of Earth was not one of his personal favourite stories. Now, the Dalek Invasion of Earth is interesting because it actually was quite an accident-prone production. The first thing that went wrong was actually last week when they were in episode 2 of the Dalek Invasion of Earth, otherwise known as The End of Tomorrow, because Jacqueline Hill had hurt her hand quite badly during production of episode 2 of the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Don't know whether you remember this. It's at the end of the episode when the rebels first start attacking the Dalek saucer, and they're throwing Dortmund's Dalekanium bombs, aren't they, David? And you know the bit I mean. And at one point, Jacqueline Hill was supposed to throw one of the Dalekanium bombs through the window behind which she was hiding. This all happened during camera rehearsals, fortunately, and she bashed her hand on the edge of the window frame, and she hurt her hand. And so that was submitted as an accident report form. Poor old Jacqueline Hill hurting her hand. It went that she had that all the form had to be filled out properly for the report of Jacqueline Hill, believe it or not, bruising her hand. There it is. This is William Hartnell's, because this one, interestingly, William Hartnell's accident report form happened as a result of episode 3, the episode we're talking about.
Have I just got the pictures completely wrong?
Probably, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we can bring up William Hartnell's accident report form. There we go.
I've got Jacqueline Hill's next.
Yeah, right. Well, William Hartnell's report form, as I say, was filed during production of this episode 3, The Day of Reckoning. And as you can see from the details there, he hurt his back, bless him. Poor old Mr. Hartnell did hurt his back as a result of filming this episode. Now, this one, if you can cast your mind back, it comes at the start of episode 3. And it's almost there for all to see, or certainly the aftermath of it is, because it comes at the end of episode 3, as I say, once the rebels have attacked the Dalek saucer and the attack has failed, and the Doctor, as you will remember, was being robotized on the table, and one of the rebels gets in and breaks William Hartnell out from the robotizing machine, and then he sort of stumbles with him down the ramp. Can anybody remember the bit that I'm talking about here?
Yes,
you've got it, David. Yeah, there's this scene where William Hartnell is being sort of walked down the ramp by the actor playing the rebel. Now, what had happened, unfortunately, in the camera rehearsals for this is that the original intention was that the rebel would literally carry William Hartnell down the ramp, and this is what they did during the camera rehearsals. And unfortunately, the extra playing the rebel in effect forgot to stop. He sort of went full tilt down the ramp from the Dalek saucer. I'm not kidding you. Went full tilt down the ramp, crashed at the bottom, dropped William Hartnell. William Hartnell ended up landing on one of the pedestals at the bottom. You're wincing, aren't you? I know. Landed on one of the pedestals at the bottom of one of the cameras, those old heavy pedestal cameras, landed very, very heavily, and as a result, unfortunately, was in great pain. And this was during the camera rehearsals. He managed to go through the recording, the full recording that took place that evening. That still took place, but straight away after the recording of the episode had taken place, and William Hartnell, bless him, had limped through the recording, he was straight off to hospital for X-rays. These that you can see now are all of this went on and on and on for some time, backwardsing and forwardsing between his solicitors, the medical insurance people, and the BBC, because as I say, William Hartnell went off, had these X-rays. There was nothing wrong with his back, but nonetheless, he was in a lot of pain, and so the BBC did make a payment to him of £12.08 on the 29th of October. They finally paid him 8 shillings. Yeah, £12 and 8 shillings was paid to him as an insurance payoff to apologise for the problem. But there was this huge argument, David, that went on between the BBC and the insurance company, because the insurance company were trying to sue the BBC for incompetence and lack of due care and so on and so forth. But the BBC fought quite reasonably and said, look, it was just one of those things that happened. The actor playing the rebel didn't do anything wrong. He played his part perfectly. He was just carrying Hartnell down the ramp, and unfortunately just sort of forgot to stop. I mean, these things happen, don't they?
Well, Simon, they were quite tight studios, weren't they? And
very tight.
A lot of the things that were to us their staircases weren't actually very solid. So they were very small areas. Actors were quite often carrying one another. Or in this story, there's lots of examples of that. So
there we go.
See.
Right.
Well, also, what had caused a problem earlier on in the day with that particular ramp, which when you look at it, it's clearly just made of hardboard, and the director Richard Martin had specifically said to the actors playing to the extras playing the Robo-Men, when you walk down that ramp, you've got to break your step. Otherwise, if you all walk in unison, if you march in unison, it will set up too much movement on the ramp and the ramp will break. And so they were under strict instructions, and sure enough, what did they do during camera rehearsals? Yes, they all walked in step, marched down the ramp, and the ramp broke. And again, when you watch the actual episode, you'll see there is a join in the middle of the of the hardboard, and that's why in the actual episode, when you see it, the actor can no longer carry William Hartnell down the ramp. That's why that William Hartnell sort of stumbles down the ramp whilst holding on to the actor. They had to change the action completely so that Hartnell was no longer carried. As TARDIS travels 1963 says, it bounces up and down like a springboard, and that's what happened, and that's how, unfortunately, it ended up that Hartnell damaged his back. So what this meant, all of this then had a knock-on effect. There you are. You can see Mr. Hartnell seeing his own doctor having X-ray appointments back in October of 1964. He had several X-rays. And you can see the detail at the bottom there. Mr. Hartnell was being carried down a ramp 3 feet and a length of 22 feet. Actor carrying him ran faster than expected and fell as they reached floor level, dropping Mr. Hartnell. William Hartnell himself did give actually a rare little bit of interview about this to one of the newspapers. And he said, and I quote, "During rehearsals, I had to be carried down a ramp from the spaceship at great speed. The ramp supports collapsed. I landed awkwardly on my spine, and for a while I was paralyzed and couldn't move. It was the day of the show. I recovered enough to get through it. Afterwards, I had 12 x-rays taken of my spine. Luckily, no drastic damage was done, but he said it was the most frightening moment he ever had on the show. So this was clearly, this was a big deal. And as I say, it did have a knock-on effect because poor old Mr. Hartnell was then laid up and was unable to take part in filming of episode 4 the following week. And so as a result of that, when you watch the Dalek Invasion of Earth back, you will see that William Hartnell appears nowhere in episode 4 at all. The first Doctor appears in just the first little bit of episode 4. And that is played by Edmund Warwick.
Stand-in.
Yeah, the stand-in, correct, David. Edmund Warwick was also the stand-in who played the robot Doctor in The Chase further down the season. So Edmund Warwick basically plays the first Doctor from behind for just one scene. Where Susan talks to the first Doctor, but the first Doctor doesn't really say anything, just see him from behind, and then that's all you see of the Doctor in that particular scene. Because poor old William Hartnell was at home nursing his very, very badly bruised back. Poor old William Hartnell, and that was, as I say, this week back in 1964. Day of reckoning for William Hartnell. Bless him.
It does sound like a bit of a mare, doesn't it? A bit of a mare.
A mare, I think, is the word. And this is why, as I say, William Hartnell was really not very keen on this particular story. Poor chap. But I mean, you do feel for him. Oh, now, interestingly, that's really interesting. You bring that up, Dan, because that particular picture was from the Christmas Radio Times back in 1964 to advertise, to promote this particular episode. This was a photograph in the pull-out special from the Radio Times of 1964, advertising the Daleks' invasion of Earth.
Is he feeding a gin? Do you think?
Probably should. I think, as I recall, David, I think that's Alice in Wonderland. That character is Alice in Wonderland.
Wasn't the premise that she'd have woken up and then wandered around Television Centre, and there was lots of different pictures of her with the cast of Dr. Finley's Casebook and Z Cars and Jukebox Jury and all that kind of thing. Is that am I close?
You're spot on. No, you're absolutely 100% spot on. And this photo, I'm guessing, looks to me like it was taken in the BBC canteen. That looks like a BBC canteen table to me. Anybody think so?
Well, the little menu thing there,
that's a
and the menu.
If they had called Eat Me,
yes, absolutely.
If they hadn't already released the season 2 Blu-ray collection set, I would say that you'd have like one of the features be like Toby Haydock interviewing the guy that dropped William Hartnell.
Yeah. Can you imagine, Gary, how awful you would feel it when it was
absolutely.
You?
And especially dropping the lead character.
I know.
I'd be. I in all seriousness, I'm actually stunned that for a rehearsal shot that they wouldn't have just had like a stand-in. It's like, why would you make William Hartnell do that kind of thing during a rehearsal shot?
Well, truth be told, Gary, as I say, when you watch the episode again and you look at that ramp, that, as I say, ultimately Hartnell just stumbles down with the actor rather than he's carried down. You look at the ramp, it looks like a piece of cardboard. You really seriously wonder why Richard Martin, as the director, allowed Hartnell, his star, to be carried to run down this ramp. You wince every time you look at the ramp now.
When you hear or read interviews with actors from TV shows around this time, whatever they were making, at ATV and places like that as well, they often tell stories like this, like that the fire alarms all went off, or like a door fell off its hinges and knocked somebody out. There's loads of stuff like this. If it's particular to British television, Gary, I wouldn't like to guess, but I get the impression it was all a little bit, I wouldn't say half-assed, but as much as we say now, Matt, about like how many times do we joke about, they'd never allow that now because of health and safety. it is a good thing that we have health and safety, because it's a miracle that more of these actors didn't peg out.
Yes. It's a miracle when you think about it. And as I say, just when you next time you watch the Dalek Invasion, you'll just see that ramp and you will wince. You will wince. Yeah. So there we go. So yeah, that was what was happening back in 1964. Goodness me.
What a trip up and down the vortex, Simon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all good fun. All good fun. But not so much for William Hartnell, bless him.
No.
I hope he's chortling. I hope he's up there somewhere chortling now about it, though.
Well, 12 quid and 8 shilling, I'm sure.
Not bad, is it, David?
No, not bad for a knackered back. It'd be
it's all a fine sense of adventure.
Exactly.
TARDIS Travels says, Simon, the BBC canteen food looked too good. In that picture. Too good.
It was only an apple, I think, wasn't it?
Shocking. The Doctor really was in distress, says Sally.
Very good. Very good, Sally.
Mercy. Is that the Doctor's walking stick on the Dalek gun? Probably. Quite likely.
Yeah. Who can say?
We've got lots of gratitude here. Cheers, Simon, and thanks for another fantastic diary, says Peter Harrington there.
Very welcome, Peter.
And scones.
Absolutely, and scones. Oh, was the scones? I do apologise. An apple and some scones. Okay.
There was at least one. Well, I think isn't it pronounced scone?
Scones. It's scones in my house.
Unless you watch the episode The Goodies, and then you'd be right.
It's sort of only the southerners call it scones.
There you go. Then.
Oh, I see it. We say scones around here as well.
Yeah, I say scone.
You're a scone person. Well, I've adopted scone as well, like Matt has, because it just sounds a bit more proper, you see.
It sounds more posh, doesn't it? Sounds more posh.
Yeah. I felt that was probably the way to go, but maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, a fantastic diary, Simon. You should see the comments here in the live chat.
Good. As long as everybody's enjoyed it.
You've stimulated great interest, I'm happy to say, as well as conversations there about scone versus scone. Obviously, more comments on that in the comment section. And maybe we'll put up a poll. I don't know, scone or scone? God. You don't get this on Radio Free Scaro, do you?
Get us out. Get us out.
They'll be giving pronouns to the scones there. I mean,
there's still time, mate. There's still time. Simon, it's always brilliant to have you back. Even better when you've got the diary tucked under your arm there. Positively stocked, loaded with so much gold. I love all those documents from the dusty cabinets.
Yeah.
And filer cabinets of BBC.
You can smell them, can't you?
It's like no wonder. I realized that no wonder BBC Legal at that time was putting out all of these memos over a 12-pound thing, because Dan, as you said, it was happening all the time with doors falling on people.
Yeah,
they probably lived in constant fear of somebody like suing the pants off them.
always pulling stunts like that. How's the dog, Simon? Says Nicholas Hall.
Oh, the dog, little Lenny. Little Lenny is fine. He's gone up to his own bed. He's taken himself up to bed. He's tired.
Oh,
Fly Highlands.
We've bored him, Gary. We've bored him.
Never.
Fly Highlands missed the diary. Fly Highlands. You should be ashamed of yourself. Go back and rewatch. Do some real time traveling. Spool us back.
Yeah, watch
and give it a go. Give it a go again. Yeah, he was too fuming. With earlier remarks after he saw he was consumed with lust for Billie Piper after he saw her picture from the Fashion Awards. Love to Lenny from Bill Silver.
Yes,
wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Real blast down the memory vortex, Simon. Cheers as always. Heaven knows where we'll end up next time. But if people have enjoyed it as much as we have, what should they do, Simon?
Well, I suppose they could like and subscribe. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? Like and subscribe.
I think that's the very least you could do. It's nearly Christmas, after all.
Leisure Hive. I love the Leisure Hive music.
And so do I, David.
Some of the best incidental music.
I agree. I agree. 100% I agree with you.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear it again?
Go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
poetry.
Why not, eh? Why not? Okay, yes. Oh, what a show. All of it's absolute poetry. Thank you, everybody, for the comments, for the engagement, for the wisecracks, and the talk about the weather. We haven't done too much weather or food this time.
Scones. It's scones.
We've done scones. That counts.
That counts.
Scones.
I had ham, egg and chips at BBC Birmingham at Pebble Mill once. That was really lovely. So at the BBC club there.
So how long were you in hospital after that?
Not long at all. My good friend Anthony, who still works at Network Radio 2, was doing Radio 2 weekends overnights then, and he was doing Mo Dutta's show, and I remember walking into the BBC club at Pebble Mill, and they had a great big huge photo of Mo Dutta there, and an older gentleman who was quite shirty with people. But I had ham, egg and chips washed down with a nice pint of Hogarden, because they had Hogarden on tap, and that was absolutely. And the cast of doctors were having a bit of a party in there.
You know what you said? Homo Aqua sounds like a gay aqua tribute band. Hogarden sounds like some sort of all-girl band. I won't go any further with that. I'll just say,
moving on.
I'll just say, if you want to come and as always say hello, you can reach out to us through our social media, Instagram and X at Type40 Doctor Who. As ever, of course, you can join us in the Type 40 Facebook group as well, loaded with debates, conversations, rants, raves, artwork, and pics. You name it, it's there. And there's some great conversations going on as well. You can wade into or start your own fight. You know what Doctor Who fans are like. You never more than, I think, 2 scrolls of your mouse or tippy tappies of your tippy tappy thing away from a good Barney. So come and join us in the Type 40 Facebook group and knock yourself out. Get some feedback into us as ever through SpeakPipe there. Any kind of comment, any feedback, reviews, suggestions, whatever. Any Merry Christmases in advance will also be greatly appreciated. Of course they will. Of course they will. Oh, what a show. What a great show. And there's more great shows too in the playlists. If you've got another itch you need to scratch, you'll almost certainly find the topic that would sate your appetite there in our playlist. So go and dive in. And as ever, there's the podcast too across all major podcatchers and our home feed at type40.podbean.com. Oh, so much Doctor Who. I need to wet my whistle. I need to shake the weasel. I need to take care of so much business, everybody. But what a brilliant show. It's obviously superb to have you back, Simon.
Lovely to be back.
Obviously, I don't know, you seem rather reluctant to give a definitive answer as to whether you're going to be watching The War Between the Land and the Sea, but it is on the way. You've only got a couple of days to decide. But I suppose the beauty of it is that if you do have a TV license, then I suppose you can watch it whenever, can't you? So, yeah, let us know whether you do sample it. I can't wait to find out.
It'll definitely wait until I've got nothing better to watch. That's for sure. I think probably sometime in the new year.
I think there will be like tying to a chair involved if Simon actually.
And do you know what? I think actually when it will be, Gary, I suspect it'll probably be in that week between Christmas and New Year that just seems to become a limbo of sitting in front of the television watching stuff. That's probably the perfect time to watch a load of rubbish.
You have to watch it within the 28-day period. That's the main
that's right.
You see, that's what Russell wants you to do. That's why he's putting it all on iPlayer to binge watch over Christmas. You see, you're falling into the trap, Simon.
He's got you. He's got you after all. He's got your number. Yeah, join us next time. You got to keep watching. Make sure you're notified because, 5 episodes of on-screen conflict. That's coming courtesy of Russell T. Davis, Pete McTighe, and everybody else. And here at Type 40 Live, you're going to get maybe more conflicting views. Maybe we're going to begin our war between blow-by-blow coverage here on Type 40 Live with big roundtable reaction reviews, of course, begins this Monday from 8 p.m. So don't miss that. As always, there'll be no beefs, no bullshit, no party lines, just honest opinions. And we'll be taking your rants and raves too over there in the comments section. So, yeah, steam in. thirsty work, isn't it? But yes, we're done. We're done once again. Yes. So Gary, what a great show. Covered a lot of ground. Been a big old day. I'm looking forward to talking about season 21 some more. I'm going to go in a few minutes and go look through all those details. So you'll no doubt be hearing from me over the weekend. I'll be like, "Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen that?"
You wait till you see the trailer, Dan. You wait till you see the
Dan. Oh,
it's one of those things where I can't wait to discuss it, because I think the last 2 or 3 sets we talked about Tom Baker, John Pertwee, nothing 80s. I feel like we haven't talked about anything 80s for a little while. So
yes,
I can't wait
quite
to do
right.
a deep dive.
It
On
really,
all of that.
I mean, David exactly echoed my opinion. It does kind of get you choked up a little.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh yeah,
really does.
it's emotional. Yeah.
That's what I love. Well, this is what I love about 21st century Doctor Who, which I'm aware is somewhat of a problematic thing to say in the wake of RTD2. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I enjoyed pretty much everything from 2005 to 2017 because of that kind of those emotional responses that it promoted in me and my children, and indeed older generations as well. So I think that to measure that in the way that they do in those trailers, I think that's appropriate. I think it's right. I don't think it betrays the sensibilities of the original show, because every other element is also nicely judged as well. So look, I'm disappointed they stopped making them for every set as well, but I'll enjoy the ones that we get when we get them, I suppose. That's the trick. That's the trick. But that's my long way of saying thank you for being on the show, Gary.
Oh, it's always the greatest pleasure. It's always such a ton of fun.
We've got you putting your cap on for the occasion. David tugging on the old Christmas top there. I don't know. You got a big weekend planned? You doing anything? You're bowling a maiden over?
I'm pleased you finished that sentence. Yes, it's always a pleasure to have a good tug of the jumper, but yes, and always a pleasure to wear a cricket sweater, especially when it's the Fifth Doctor's. This weekend we are mostly decorating the Christmas tree and trying to avoid the rain and basically avoiding as best as possible. Saturday night, I'm with you on the Spacebook, I have to say. So I successfully avoid Strictly Come Dancing, which is always a result. And then on Sunday, we'll be watching the final of I'm a Celebrity because it clashes with The War in the Sea. And I don't have television rights in this house, or primary television rights, you understand, because my lovely wife chooses that. So essentially just a nice relaxed weekend and spending it in the company of the good folk in the chat and your wonderful self and Gary as well, Dan. So yeah, it's lovely. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I should advise as well, everybody, that you don't decorate a Christmas tree, you dress a Christmas tree.
Oh, stop it.
Sorry, that's me with me big balls.
I decorate.
I don't know what's happened to me. I've gone from scones to scones, decorate to dress. What's happened to me, Simon? I don't know.
You've gone all posh or something.
Is your tree non-binary as well?
Not yet, although it's still in the loft, so I'll go and check, see if anything may have altered.
I think maybe today, Matt. I think maybe I identify as a Christmas tree. I've decided.
Maybe it's a trans tree.
You never know. Yeah. Trans-seasonal. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. So speaking of
does it have a roof or not?
You're trans international, obviously our trans international correspondent, Matt. Thank you for getting up extra early just to give us your inside takes on everything. How is Friday looking for you so far? Have you got much planned?
Yeah, well, I've got to do a lot of gardening in that at the moment, so it's a lot of fun, and I'm also on the lookout for a Christmas pudding without bloody peel in it.
Oh,
I don't want peel in it. No peel. So I'm on the hunt. I miss. It's one of those times where I really, really miss having my grandmother make me a Christmas pudding in the, in the cloth and everything, and just traditional. Now you got to make it. Now you got to try and buy them, and they're all mass produced, and they're all got bloody lemon peel and orange peel in them, and I can't stand.
Oh, Matt, I can send you a really easy recipe that you can knock up. All you need is sherry and fruit, and you're there.
Oh no, I'll be having brandy in there.
Sherry and fruit. Brilliant.
There's something for everybody on this show. I've always said
we should do a cookery slot, shouldn't we? With sherry and fruit. What can you make with sherry and fruit? A Christmas pudding.
I'm making the Christmas cake this weekend as well. I've got me fruit soaking in half in a pint of sherry at the moment. So,
euphemism. I don't think I want to know. Okay, yes, we're plunging new depths in coming days, of course, here at Type 40 Live.
We only wanted a Christmas pudding
for this time. We always have the time if you have the space, of course, here at Type 40 Live. Back next time when the war between the land and the sea commences. I don't have nightmares, though. Speak to you later.
Bye.